show us the edge. Yes. The chip on the shoulders, the fight and the passion that comes from within. Whoa. Trying to win on every level. Yeah. Expectations high. Gotta show them you can fly. Play harder, better, smarter. Baby, put the league on notice. Show me the edge, yeah. Play with the edge, yeah. Show me the edge, yeah. Play with the edge, yeah. Show me the edge, yeah. Show me the edge, yeah, yeah. Whoa, done seen the walk of shame enough. Wanna see the walk of winning, time to come up and bring out the outlook. Don't every play, every possession. How bad you want it, love, you want it all. This ain't a blood on blood, built for something greater. Attacking all obstacles, coming for the ring, my precious. You got the juice, the will, the heart, the fire. Show 'em the proof, show 'em that it shall be done. Show me the edge, yeah, yeah, yeah. Play with the edge, yeah. Show me the edge, yeah.
You're listening to the Pelicans Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
For all things Pelicans, you're now tuned into the Pelican Postgame Report. Much love to the fam. Appreciate y'all for joining us for this episode of the Pelican Postgame Report, named Pelican PPR Deep Dive Pelican Blueprint Strategy and the moves for the offseason. Shout out to Young Big Q. We got DC and Lex in the building. Shout out to all y'all for being in the stream. Please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And by all means, feel free to share the show on social media. If you're listening via Twitter, please feel free to give us a retweet. And the Pelican PPRs in this thing, man. The diehards representing the flocking nation. What's popping with you guys? And happy Friday to you all, man. We up in this thing. So we're going to talk about this. We also going to open up the phone lines. We gave an opportunity last time to fam to open up and kind of give their thoughts on what the Pelicans could do. There is a question in the chat to the flock asking them the question: should the Pelicans give BI the extension, man? Feel free to chime in on that one. There's a resounding no right now. But get your self heard on there, man. So big ups to everybody in the building. Much love, man. Kai, Young City, and the fam. Keith Byers, I see you, fam. Appreciate y'all. Pete, the Knicks fan. Shout out to the Knicks, man. They doing their thing and representing. They were bad for a while, man. But when you have serious people and, at the top that want to win, man, look how the Knicks are doing it, man. And I remember shows we were talking about Jalen Brunson when he was with the Dallas team. Look what he did with the Knicks, man. Look where the Knicks are, man. When you have good leadership, people are serious, they can turn around things, man. And not flim flam. It's enough flim flam and too much goddamn talking going on with the Pelicans, man. But anyway, let's get into it. Shout out to you guys. DC, Lex, how y'all doing tonight?
What up with you?
Good. DC, you there, sir?
Yeah, man, I'm doing well, man. No problems over here.
All right, good. DC, shout out to you. Your internet connection seems to be doing well, sir, from there in the island. All right, so anyway, we're going to get right into it. I got to take my shots. All right, Pelicans rumors, man. We're going to delve right into this article from Hoop Hype. This is really a good article. I'm not going to read the entire damn article, but we'll go over some talking points from it as the writer interviewed Pelican beat writer Will Guillory, who does some good work. He's one of many of some of my favorite.
That's your favorite writer, huh?
No, one of them, DC. I said one of them.
I thought that was that's your favorite, bro. You told me that was your favorite.
No, I didn't. I said that's one. I just said what I said. Okay, all right, DC. All right, Pelicans rumor Zion Williams, Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum trades free agency. All right, this is by Michael Scotto of Hoop Hype. Pretty good little article right here. And like I said, he talked about a lot of stuff. What I want to just get down to, y'all can feel free to go to their website, check this article out. But what I wanted to kind of get down to was the section of the article when they talked about Brandon Ingram. This is the big part of the offseason. This is the biggest talking point right now for the Pelicans is about Ingram and the potential possibilities and extension range. It's just like the question in the chat, a resounding no to BI. And maybe it'd been a little different after, we know he was hurt and that was a tough situation to undergo. But right now, a lot of people are like, man, we done seen enough of this. Let's move in a different direction. But here's what the article had to say. Pelicans forward Ingram is considered the most likely player to be traded by rival executives who spoke with Hoops Hypes, saying that the executive believed the fit with Ingram and Zion isn't ideal on the court. With Ingram entering the final season of his contract at $36 million, he's been a trade candidate before, but he's a prime trade candidate now. Saying I was brainstorming, I just wondering in my head, I'm not reporting this, depending on what happens with Cleveland this round. I wonder if Ingram for Darius Garland trade would make sense both sides of summer. If Cleveland is able to re-sign Donovan Mitchell long term to an extension, I think it's some question in Cleveland if they're going to go with two small guard lineup. They got two bigs in Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. They could break up if they wanted to. It seems like they've been missing a three since they got rid of Lauri Markkanen in the Donovan trade. For the Pelicans, I know McCollum can handle the ball. He says, and they want the ball in Zion's hands, but a true point guard is something they haven't had. They've got an Ingram replacement in Trey Murphy, and Herb Jones would play more. Guillory asks, I've been torn on this topic. If Ingram was traded, the way he ended the season was so bad, he looked terrible in the first round of the playoffs. Luke Dart had him in jail for a lot of the series, for all the series. And at the end of the game, he told us this was the worst year he's had in the Pelicans uniform going back to Team USA and the struggles he had last summer. His scoring was down this year. He improved his passing and his defense was a little better this year, but I don't think he had quite the same impact we're used to seeing from him. I think a big part of what happened with him at the end of the season was him getting injured against Orlando a month before the playoffs. I think they would have had a good chance of dodging the play-in tournament if he was healthy all the way through. They probably would have went over the 50 mark. The financial situation is what it is. They got to make a big decision about whether they want to give him the amount of money he'll be looking for in a contract extension and what that means for how they're building for the rest of the roster. They're staring down a big time extension with Trey Murphy this summer, which I'd assume gets done this summer. I think they really are committed to having him as a complementary piece to Zion. With his shooting, size, and athleticism, he fits a lot of what they want to be. One of my rules of thumb is I hate trading a guy when his value is at an all-time low. And I think that's where Ingram is right now. If you were trying to trade Ingram coming off last summer where he was averaging 25 points per game, if they made the play-in and Zion was out, I think we have gotten a way better trade for him than now. It takes vision, though, brother. That's the whole point we're missing here. When you look around the league, Cleveland's situation is an interesting one, whether it's Donovan Mitchell. He says, I think Jared Allen's another guy the Pelicans would be interested in for their center position. I'm just not completely sold. There are a lot of great options out there where the Pelicans could trade for Ingram and feel like they're making an upgrade over the team they have right now. Maybe they decide the financial situation overrides that. If I look at your Darius Garland scenario, I'd say he and CJ would be an interesting fit, being two small guards. Would they move Trey into the starting lineup and McCollum would go to the bench as a $30 million guy? He said, I think that's something that has to be discussed. I think the Cleveland situation overall is definitely going to be something the Pelicans will be interested in. He also says the Pelicans were also having conversations with Atlanta going into the trade deadline about the potential DeJounte Murray and maybe one of their bigs. I think there's another team to keep an eye out on. So Scoto says you brought up Jared Allen. Excellent point. We'll touch on Jonas in a bit, but Allen played for Langdon when he was in Brooklyn. He was certainly a fan of Allen. Let me ask you this. Do you know ballpark-wise what Ingram and his camp would be looking for as an extension, as he enters the final season at $36 million? Guillory responses, I think he'd certainly be wanting to swim somewhere near the max waters. He's still a guy in his mid-20s who's going to be a really good scorer in the league for a long time, a playmaker, and a guy who had success with his team as the number one option at times with Zion been out. I think there are teams around the league who'd be interested in paying him, if not the max, all the way up to the max for potential he brings as a wing scorer. Can make plays off the dribble. He's a versatile defender and a good locker room guy. I think he's going to have a value on open market. Does it make sense to pay him and Trey Murphy if you're going to maximize Zion? I've been banging my head against the wall trying to figure out what the good Ingram trade, what's a good Ingram trade. I keep coming back to Cleveland and Atlanta. I think Miami is another interesting one, maybe Brooklyn. I'm not sure if any of these trades make them better. So anyway, before we go into the rest, he does talk about Ingram. He talks about Bridges, and then he talks about Nick Claxton. It's also more about Trey Murphy. Then he talks about DeJounte Murray and Okongwu and or Clint Capella and some of these players. So let's kind of look at this right here before we move on. What are you guys' thoughts on what Guillory and Scoto were mentioning in terms of the Brandon Ingram situation? I know you guys both do not favor an extension with him. So what would be the more correct route in terms of handling this, being that this is a blueprint show? Lex, DC, you could chime in first, brother.
I mean, it's pretty much a decision that's already been made. I do think Bi and Zion could coexist, but not under the current regime. With the way we're doing things, we've seen it work very well with Stan Van Gundy with a way worse team. We've seen it work very well with Alvin Gentry. You know, it's sad that it has to end this way, but pretty much for the Pels to become what they need to become, it's just the only thing that makes sense. In a perfect world, we'd like to get off of CJ, right? And be able to keep BI and not sign him to a supermax. BI ain't backing down off the money he want. You can't justify paying him $50 million a year for the type of production that we get, and it doesn't really elevate who's ultimately the best player on the team is Zion. It's more of a, your turn, my turn, Batman and Superman thing, or whatever you want to call them, like 1A, 1B. And without a point guard, man, it just doesn't work. And if we could get a point guard here and figure out the money, we pay luxury tax and all that, I think Brandon Ingram and Zion will work just fine. But the point guard would also have to be very intelligent and basically keep Willie out of his own way. And that's the only way it could work. So we're not going to give him the extension unless it's some type of sign and trade thing, right? Pretty much it's very, very difficult to pinpoint what the exact trade would be. I mean, there's so many things out there, man. You're looking at the Pacers. All that Miles Turner hype could ratchet up again. He hasn't been looking really good defensively. We need a center, right? You got DeJounte Murray and Trae Young. Trae Young actually switched agencies. He said, what he said, new place, new opportunity. Now, that's intriguing. So is Trae Young getting traded? Maybe, maybe not. We don't know who Atlanta is really sold on. No, they say they want to keep. You hear the rumors about them wanting to keep DeJounte Murray and move off of Trae Young, and then you hear the opposite of that. So we got them. Then we have see my man Kevin Byers put Orlando on the chat. You hearing a little stuff about Orlando got a lot of pieces over there, man. They got like 3 point guards over there. You got Cole Anthony, you got the Slugs kid who actually is looking really good this year. Mo Wagner. I don't know who they'd be looking to get off of. Jonathan Isaac, William Carter Jr. So that could be another team in the mix. And Detroit with Monty got Jaden Ivey. They don't know what they want to do with him. I don't really know. I thought he was a point guard coming into the league. Maybe they're using him wrong, but everything I've seen of him in Detroit, he looks more like a combo guard, not a clear point. Sure, he could do a lot better than CJ though. I don't think you can get Cade for BIs. It's really difficult, man, when you really start to actually put and try to pinpoint these things. You got Cleveland with all their options. You got Jared Allen. Mobley had a good game, so now he's untradeable. What if he looks like how he looked the last series and he's playing bad? Could they want to trade Mobley? Darius Garland was $208 million, turning in about 14 points and 6 assists. It's a lot of different ways this can go, man. But the one thing that I'm for sure, after reading this article, hearing everything else, it'll be very shocking to me to see the Pelicans keep Bi all year. Wouldn't be shocking to see him start the season with him and him get traded mid-season, but the writing's on the wall, man. I just don't see how we're able to keep Bi.
Lex, what you think?
I do want to ask this question. How much of, I guess, the interaction between Willie and Brandon, how much do you all had think that that's heavily involved in this decision? The fact that, in that second game against OKC, um, Brandon, basically addressed some things with Willie Green.
I think it's your fault, man.
Huh? You think it's
I
my
think
fault?
it's your fault. Yeah, you've been telling them to play with an edge all year, and they finally had a little edge in the locker room. They was throwing some chairs and stuff, or whatever happened.
Well, the thing is that because Big Q, you were saying that Will Guillory was kind of up in the air as far as what they can really do, right? As far as which direction.
Right.
I know y'all hate to hear this, but the thing is that it's up in the air because of the coaching. That's what that, because the thing is that you can bring the players that we need in, but if they're not utilized, in the way that they should, it kind of it questions everything. Plus,
Can I add one point?
It doesn't. Say again.
I want to add one point to that so you keep cooking.
Okay.
We always say Bi don't shoot threes, right? Or enough threes, right?
Yeah, well, I wasn't finished, DC, but go on.
I know. But in 2019, Bi shot 6 threes, 6, 7 threes a game.
Okay.
With Alvin Gentry.
I want to say
and Willie
something.
couldn't ever get him to do that. But keep going, man.
No, the thing is that, and this is when you were talking, this came to mind because I was writing down notes. The needs of the team, they change according to the changes of the league. Okay? I want you to keep that in mind. I say that because during the Gentry days, first of all, it's a different system. Okay? It's a different system. You have to keep that in mind. But the thing is, it's not the way the game is played. It's not the same. Like, there's personnel that has been changed and the game has changed and teams have gotten better. And because teams around the NBA have gotten better, that means the changes of the Pelicans has to change. That's why this core cannot no longer stay together. We've seen it enough. And the thing is, this core right here is delayed. It's already delayed because this is the team that we were trying to see on last season. That's basically what happened. This season was reliving the core from last season that we should have saw. And that's what the problem is. That's why it's so delayed and behind and in that more so reactive mode. Because the thing is, it's almost like the Pelicans have gotten stuck in time and the league has gotten better within that time frame. That's why you have to constantly make changes. This squad is already overdue. When you look around the league, even look at the record, right? This record that the Pelicans had, if they had this record last season, they would have been third in the West. This season, they were 8th seed. That proves my point. The league has gotten better. They're not stuck on last season. And so, like, that's what hurts all of this is that you can't just, it's not just about making these changes like in a timely fashion, but you have to make them because everything around you is getting better and teams are aggressive. They're not trying to wait. They're not trying to wait at all. And that's the one thing that's really hurt. Henceforth, when you look at Brandon's trade value, it's not high right now. It really isn't high. It's like because again, that waiting game, oh, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. Y'all ain't looking at these games. Y'all ain't paying attention to what's going on. It shouldn't take a long stretch of time to figure out, hey, we need to do something. But I mean, this is where they are. I feel like the Pelicans are playing catch up. And then they have to play catch up with a appreciated trade value of Brandon. So, I mean, those are the reasons why things are up in the air. It's like, when you look at the situation and, I know everybody, has their feelings on how to talk about Willie and everything, but that's a huge concern. It's a huge concern. I can't say that enough. And I know, like, for right now at the moment, he's hearing things, but right there is just, it's like, how is he going to utilize these players coming in? I mean, if it's not somebody who is the type of person like, look, we gonna do what we gonna do. And he just gonna sit there and watch. If it's not that type of player, it's gonna be hard to see whoever is added to this team, how far we can go. Because we have a coach that when he's in the position where he has to actually coach, it's going to be failure. So, I mean, I totally get Will Guillory. I mean, there's different facets of all of this where, we really we just don't know. I mean, we're just hoping that, it fits and, the chemistry, like obviously Zion playing more games, being available, Trey Murphy improving his game. Whoever's left on the team, we still don't know about Jonas. Really, CJ is up in the air because you talking about 33 mil coming off the bench. I don't know about that one. I mean, in the starting lineup, I definitely don't know about that because, I mean, obviously, the way that dude is hunted on defense is just crazy. And that's going to be a problem in itself, whoever is playing at that point guard position, if he is in the starting lineup.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's the. Let's touch on a few of these points. I'm gonna kind of get more rapid fire because I want to give opportunity for the family members to chime in too. The next several topics we touch on that. We touch on in this article. They touch on several really valid points. We starting off with CJ McCollum. He talked about the BI, but it's an article make mentions of CJ McCollum as a possible trade candidate. So this is what it says about it. It says this is what they've been told regarding CJ McCollum's future, that he's not viewed as untouchable, but he's viewed as the grown up in the room for a young Pelican squad. Provides some stability on the court, good locker room presence. I think there's going to be a guy whose name you'll hear up in some trade talks, but those reasons I mentioned, I don't know if they'll move from him. Will Guillory says, I agree with everything you said as far as how much they value him on and off the court. His maturity and perspective, having those previous playoff runs in Portland under his belt, and being the president of the National Basketball Players Association, a guy who really respects as a voice in that locker room. He's also a guy, when you mentioned putting him around the right pieces around Zion, he broke the franchise record for threes in the season. He's the typical example of a guy who's more valuable to the Pelicans than others. They see him as a guy who's really important to what they're doing and mark the winning point of Willie Green's tenure. They also are losing a whole lot in the beginning when they brought CJ in. They said he became more of a serious team, and then they want to keep that vibe. I'm not sure he has the same type of value for other teams if he's put on the trade block. So DC, if you can, kind of quick thoughts on the CJ McCollum trade possibility, and Lex, if you want to add on to it after DC, feel free.
I would love it, Big Q. I don't like the phoniness of CJ at times, although he is an excellent scorer. Pretty much became a road bump on defense, especially during the playoffs. At times, what we saying with Brandon Ingram and Zion not coexisting, man, that alarm got really, really loud once CJ got there. That's part of it. Just unintelligent basketball play at times. So it's a lot of reasons to, you know, get him out of here. But what I don't want to see is CJ just gone just to get him out of here, like some people feel. Because I actually witnessed, come on, y'all gotta remember when BI was out, those last games during the season and other games during the season, the Pelicans look damn good with CJ and Zion. As much as I don't like his some of his the way he plays, I think it's really CJ's playing out of position. The more I look at it, I don't think there's an answer for the defensive liabilities, but CJ is a lot better when he's allowed to just be a two guard and he doesn't have to be a point guard. You see that guy that you saw in Portland, like he's still there. You know, if we could get a point guard, preferably one that could play really good defense, CJ could work. But if you're moving on for CJ, you have to move on from CJ to be able to get you a point guard or a center or whatever one you can't get. You fix that issue in free agency, or I would hope not for a point guard in the draft. You can't draft no more than point guards. But I just don't see a realistic place for CJ to go, and I don't see the Pelicans organization wanting to move on from CJ for things that they pointed out in the article. They talked about him, being the ultimate professional, the veteran in the locker room. He's the guy that allegedly holds people accountable. Great stuff off the court, outside of just what we see out there on the basketball floor, as Bi would say. You know, I don't see it happening. But if I could trade CJ McCullough for any one of those other point guards or centers that we want, put them in a package, even if we got to give up some picks, I'm all for it. I can't see the Pelicans doing that, man. I can't see them doing it at all. If I see Marley, I say trade. But if we could pull off a trade and give them 5 first-round picks and CJ McCullough, hey, let's do it. Let's do it. You find a way to possibly keep BI. I think that would actually make us better. But what's the likelihood of that happening? I don't really see that coming to fruition. And then you really have to analyze, the Pels going to go into the luxury checks. So if they move off of CJ, right, what would be their next move, man? Are they really going to be trying to crunch them numbers? We move off of CJ just to pay BI and we get a little makeshift point guard and draft the center or something. No other name comes through here. So it's going to be really interesting to see what we do as a team. David Griffin, a lot of times, has been excellent at pulling off trades. It's just half the time he gets the wrong damn people. But he going to put something together. Somebody going to be up out of here. I don't see Mr. McCullough being one, though.
Hey, Lex, want to add to that, or?
Oh, yeah. If we're just talking about on the court, because I could care less what he's doing off court. Let's just put it like that. This is a business, man. And, look, fan base has been waiting to win at a high level. I can't say that enough. I'm not trying to be rude or anything. I know the community is good, but they're going to do that regardless wherever they are. So I mean, the thing is that CJ, as far as just on the basketball court, he's been the weakest link on defense, and CJ has not performed at a high level when the lights are brightest. Okay? He performs well during regular season, but it's like when the bright lights come on, the big stage, he's nowhere to be found. You know what I'm saying? And his mistakes, and I'm looking at just throughout the course of the season when we really needed CJ, okay? Think about those games. Not the games that didn't have a whole lot of meaning, but the games that did have meaning. Where was CJ at? Okay, look, that's great that he showed up for regular season games that had absolutely no meaning. I mean, obviously, it contributed to a win. He was covering for Brandon. He was covering for Zion, however you want to look at it. But the thing is that when we're in a position to go far, speaking of the playoffs, that's when, if you had that label as a star, he's not a star. I don't have him labeled as a star, but that's what, media has him as. Okay. When you have that type of label, you have to show up. You got to show up. And I think the thing is, I mean, even with Brandon, when the lights have been brightest, hey, as far as the label, like, look, you're not showing up. You're not showing up. And that's when it means the most. That's how you make your name. That's how you raise your stock. That's how you let everybody know that you're legit. That's what the Pelicans need right now. Regular season is great, but hey, man, you got to show up in those big games, national televised games. Games that, hey, if you win this game, you're solidified in the playoffs. If you don't, you're playing. Like, we just need, like, he's not it. He's not it. So, I mean, I don't know how they're gonna do that. I mean, Griff has a whole lot on his hands there, but I mean, with CJ, those are the two biggest things. Like, look, we appreciate what you're doing when, covering for if Brandon's down or if Zion's down or Zion getting in shape or whatever. But it's those big games, man. When it matters most, we have to have those performances. I mean, there's no question. You're a veteran. You can't make mistakes like a rookie. Losing the ball, all of a sudden it's so much dancing. You're not moving the ball. You don't know how to catch the ball or pass the ball. Your decision making is very poor. That's not good for how old is he?
Well, CJ got to be like about what, 34?
No, he's 32.
Okay. 32.
32?
A 32-year-old veteran, man, like, you can't make those type of mistakes. You just can't do that. I mean, we need veterans that don't make mistakes like that. Like, costly mistakes. And they're like, he makes a lot of like just weird mistakes at the worst times and then not show up in big games. I mean, we need to have guys. If you have that label as a star or as being a part of that core, you need to show up. And that's what we expect from Zion, right? Because we criticized him. He's been scrutinized. He's been crucified and all that stuff, right? Zion has. We know that he's gotten it. And you know what? He responded. We need that for anybody who's a part of the core. Anybody. I mean, I'm looking at guys. I'm looking at the playoffs. Let me tell you something. Nobody's 100% around this time. Nobody's 100%. I mean, and these guys, they're out there balling. I mean, they're performing. They're doing whatever it takes. And I mean, I know CJ's been doing that in regular season games. We just need it when the games count.
Yeah, $30 million, man. You would definitely want your $30+ million players to carry, to show up in the big moments. That's why they make the big cake. And yes, you make some valid points on that, Lex. A few topics to kind of round out right here. The Valanciunas free agency thing. That's probably like a very easy thing to deal with. We know how the Pelicans use Valanciunas throughout the season. He played all 82 games. He was a solid player in terms of when he majority of the time when he had an opportunity to play and to show what he could do. But outside of that, it is a foregone conclusion that the Pelicans are definitely going to move beyond Valanciunas. That's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Will Guillory basically agrees with that point. So let's move to a more.
So y'all wasn't shocked by that news when they put it out today that the Pelicans are likely not interested in re-signing Valanciunas? That wasn't a shocker to anybody here?
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. DC, that was probably a
I
really.
looked at that. I was like, how is this news?
It is not. It's not at all. All right, so on to another interesting point that's more interesting than the fact that we already know that. Trey Murphy's extension. We talking about BI. Be a lot of people in the chat. According to the Flocked Nation, man, 77% of the family members that voted says, man, don't get BI that. Shouldn't get the extension, but Trey Murphy, the young gun behind BI. Let's see what they say about him. He's moved from some, expect potentiality. This will open up more minutes for Trey Murphy. BI's not there. While the Pelicans want to get more playing time, what's the number for a potential extension for him? And Guillory says with his size, 3-point shooting, and athleticism, I think he can definitely be it could be a big number. I think you want to be smart about what that means for the rest of the roster. I definitely don't think he's a max guy or anything like that. But over $100 million mark, I think there is no question. You mean over 4 years, I assume? He says yes. I think going into this offseason, I could see him getting somewhere in the neighborhood, maybe closer to $20 million a year. We said that here on the show a couple of times. Scoto said, I think he takes an extension for $20 million a year if this is going to be a real conversation. You're Murphy and you're betting on yourself and you think you're going to have a breakout year. You're signing an extension beforehand. And it's got to be in the middle where it's a number where he'll grow into that production. He says, I don't see it being a conversation unless it's at least 4 years, $100 million. Look at the extension that Jaden McDaniels and Devin Vassell signed. You got to look at those starting points. If you don't do an extension and Murphy really breaks out, then it could be even more than that. So he says, Guillory says he's got a ton of leverage. If you're moving forward in the world without Brandon Ingram, Murphy needs a new contract, and they'd want to keep Zion happy. I think they'll prefer to get a deal done this summer, and he might have more power if he waits this thing out. But guys want the security of signing a big money contract. So let's chime in on this, on the Trey Murphy thing if you want to, DC, as well. Thank you.
I mean,
okay, you
go
can
ahead.
go, DC.
Man, you go.
Oh, no, you got it, man.
Well, basically, I'm gonna keep it short. Trey, we all know what's up with Trey, man. The dude's ceiling is up there. I mean, Trey can be an all-star. It's very easy to see. Went to slam dunk contest last year. He basically only has one major flaw to me. A lot of little things, still work on, but just him being able to shoot and pull up off the dribble really good, and attack off the dribble. That's kind of where his flaw is. His off-ball game could be a little bit better, but Trey has the potential to turn into our version of the next Klay Thompson. I'm not saying he's going to be that, but our version of it. You saw what he was doing defensively in the playoffs. His athleticism has been crazy. He had a lot of hurdles to overcome. He showed a lot of mental toughness to me this year, overcoming that injury and kind of getting back on track, even though it was really rocky all year. He played a lot better as a starter as opposed to coming off the bench. Sometimes he did go missing for a little while, so he needs to work on that as far as his aggression. But I feel very comfortable giving Trey with a $120 million 5-year deal. Like, they paying that guy over there in Minnesota. He's an amazing defender, but they gave him $150 million. You don't think Trey ain't worth 120? So I think that's an easy decision for the Pels, and it'll definitely pay off in the long run. And what we saw them building with him and Zion, man, was just completely electric. Some of those games with the Warriors and and the Kings, and CJ was out there balling too. Just seeing how deadly they can be offensively, and Trey being a big catalyst for that. You definitely don't let that guy go, man. You don't trade him. You don't let him go. So I think that's an easy decision to make. It's just a matter of will Trey want to bet on himself to try to go and get even more money? Because if Trey turns in Brandon Ingram type numbers, I mean, he's looking at a major pay increase if he decides to forego that and play this season out to see if he can get a bigger contract by possibly getting to an All-Star game or something. We'll see. But I think the Pels should be running up to his house right now, trying to get him signed a contract.
What you think, Lex?
Yeah, I mean, I like Trey. One thing I will say is that I don't think we got to really see enough of Zion and Trey a lot of times. So if you are moving Brandon, it really opens up the doors for Trey, and that's been the talk anyway. Is like it's a huge step up for him to really prove himself. To give him that opportunity, especially if you're moving him into the lineup, because we all know that when Trey was inserted into the lineup, or excuse me, the starting lineup, the team actually played better. Because we had a shooter out there. I mean, it just it worked out a whole lot better when he was in the starting lineup. But definitely, just the natural synergy and chemistry that him and Zion have, it's natural. It's really good. They really have a strong connection. And so how can you go against that? We see that it works. Everybody saw it. It was even pointed out to Willie. And, after that game, it kind of went against it. You know what I'm saying? The game that he came back, which was really weird. But because I guess, when Zion was being subbed out, Trey would be coming in, which a lot of people thought that was just off. But it would be nice to see what they can do, to see how Trey grows. A lot of times, in order to really see how a player can grow, sometimes you have to move pieces around to open up those positions and open up those doors. So, I mean, that could be the opportunity for him if they do move Brandon. But I think if given a chance, I think Trey can step it up. I do want to ask you a question. What is Michael Porter Jr.? What is he getting paid? For the Denver Nuggets?
Let me right quick.
I think he's $100 million guy, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Well, if he is, I mean,
I'm not sure though. We gotta make sure.
I see a lot of similarities.
5 years,
I don't know if
5 years, 179. Is that right? Yeah, that is. 5 years, 170.
They be getting the big bucks, man.
And he averaging almost $36 million a year, according to Sport Track, for Michael Porter.
He getting paid more than CJ.
Yeah, his contract is right here.
So is he the number? So how much? I know this is getting off.
He's the number. He's the number 3 guy.
Number 3 option. He number 3.
So he's the third option.
Yes. And what who are you asking about?
How much Jamal and Jokic were getting paid?
Jamal, 4 years. What is it? Is this right? This is rookie deal. Signed a 5-year, $158 million, $158 plus
more than Murray.
That's
crazy.
And Murray's the number 2 guy.
Yeah, he gets. Yeah, he gets.
And at the end of the game, sometimes he's number 1.
58.2. That's 30. What is it? See me see 33.
I was just curious because I kind of
36
feel like
mil.
Trey's game and Porter's game are
He
kind
got
of
less. He got less. He got less years, so that's why it's less money. They look like they kind of getting the same thing.
He escalated it toward the back, and according to this,
Oh, okay.
he's unrestricted after this. According to this, Sport Track is
They
saying
gave him
this.
that contract when he had that back injury and he was out for the season. That was the start of that contract.
Jamal Murray is unrestricted after this year.
That's what they're saying here. I'm gonna have to see. This is Sport Track saying this. This is the
Man,
2024 year at 36
you
mil.
need to get one of them You need to get one of them Loomis trucks, man, and drive that up on over to Denver, bro.
Well, they missed out on him, man.
Soon as the season over.
We could have had Jamal Murray. Dale Demps chose Buddy Hield.
What was it also? It was Buddy Hield, yeah.
Buddy Hield.
Shoot.
It's just
Missed
what they
out
do.
on
Who
him
did we
and-
pass up? Who did we mess up when we got Austin Rivers? Because I remember we had AD, and then we had another opportunity to get somebody. Was that Devin Booker? Didn't we pass up on Devin Booker for Austin Rivers?
I don't know. Yeah, it's just terrible. What you thinking? What's your thought in this?
Oh,
Joker's
well, I mean, I kind of felt like, Trey Young, he has a similar game to Porter, but shoot, after, seeing how much he's really getting overpaid, especially if he's the third option.
The Joker's 5 year 276 million.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, he's a three-time MVP. Yeah.
He should be getting paid with that boy at the Celtics game. He's 300 and something mil, man. 276. He took a discount.
And you know what? Jalen ain't about to get no MVP no time soon. Which is crazy. But
he is a big piece of what make that team go though. Because you look at Tatum. Tatum is the flash, but Jalen does all those little things, man. Yeah, but Jalen is the one that's showing up, doing all the little things, man.
Yeah, but he shows up in the biggest games. But Tatum hasn't been doing all that great for real. I mean, he's been doing okay. I'm not saying that he's doing nothing, but yeah, Jalen's balling.
But what was your point about what was you saying about that though, Lex? About when you were comparing the contracts between the Nuggets and the Pelicans?
Because I see similarities within their games, but I mean, looking at that, I mean, obviously Porter's kind of overpaid, especially being a third option. I don't know if Trey, if Brandon was moved, he would actually become that second option because it would actually depend on the actual trade, like who's coming in. But I don't know. I'm thinking more so probably what Brunson is being paid because I know Brunson's at around 100 mil. If they did give it to him, something like that. But yeah, I mean, I think definitely. I mean, Trey's a keeper. He has a lot of growing room. I think if given the opportunity, which it sounds like they're going to give him that opportunity, that he'll step up to the plate and perform at a high level.
All right, let's move to another topic. I know we kind of combine a couple of these topics, and this will probably finish out this article right here. The Jordan Hawkins thing. We know he's still under contract, and it's just something they mentioned about Jordan Hawkins. Scoto says, I heard the Pelicans love Hawkins and would like to get him more playing time in the rotation next season if they're trying to add spacing around Zion. Hawkins moves without the ball and can catch and shoot threes. Was a winning player at UConn on the national championship team. Guillory says this team has such incredible depth at the guard position with CJ Herb, Dyson Daniels, who was a lottery pick last year. Jose Alvarado is one of the best backup point guards in the game. Najee Marshall played well this year. Is going to be an interesting piece and free agency this summer as a 3-and-D guy. With Jordan, there's room for him to grow defensively. He's explosive offensively and can do more off the dribble than I expected. The way they envision this team next to Zion is a team that can hit 20 to 25 threes each night with CJ, Trey, and Jordan out there. They're going to want to lean into those guys and be a high-volume three-point shooting team with Zion playing down Hill. And then combine that with this one, and this will finish out this article. Najee Marshall and Jose Alvarado's futures and coaching and front office notes. Scotto said other changes to keep an eye out heading into the offseason, including a possible assistant coaching change somewhere on Willie's staff towards the end of the bench after losing in the first round, and potentially with the G League head coaching position. If Langdon ever left, Bryson Graham would likely be the GM replacement that I've heard. I've heard that too about that. Guillory thinks Najee Marshall is going to be an interesting character going to the offseason. They're pretty much sold that he's leaving because they've got all these other financial situations going on. He's going to try to and get paid this summer after coming in as an undrafted free agent and a former two-way guy. He really proved a lot this season as a defender and played well in the first round series. He had some teams sniffing around, seeing how much value he had during the trade deadline. And there were some people at the playoff game scouting him. I also think Jose Alvarado's contract situation is going to be interesting. They got a team option for him this summer. You saw what they did with Herb Jones last summer. I think he's very motivated to get a deal done with New Orleans. I'm not sure if they're going to be as motivated to get done with him early, to get early, done with him early. They value him and he values being in New Orleans. But with everything else, it's gonna come down to how much do they want to pay him. So that's two notes to talk about Najee and Trajan Langdon. It's become a regular tradition in terms of Trajan Langdon looking for other teams to bring him in. He's, when an offer pops up, he's obviously looking to go to another team. So I don't expect that trend to slow down. But on these notes, you heard what the Guillory and Scotto said about Najee Marshall, Jose Alvarado, and also Jordan Hawkins, Lex, DC. Y'all can fill in and chime in wherever y'all want to.
I see Jordan Hawkins as possibly filling in that 6-man role. If he can get up to speed and gain some more Willie's trust defensively, because we know Dice is definitely gonna start off being the first guy off the bench next year. But Jordan Hawkins is, man, he just got stuff that you can't teach, man. As far as him being a movement shooter, the way he moves and shoots, and when he gets it going, man, it's deadly. It's very deadly. Looking forward to see some lineups with him and Trey and Zion. I don't know how teams defend that. And he has a nice dribble game. I didn't expect that from him. I thought he probably would need a lot of work on his handles. He can do more than just shoot. It's just he never had the luxury or the opportunity to really get into it too much. You've seen some glimpses of that with that Dallas game when they kind of featured him because everybody was hurt. And you heard David Griffin mention him in the end of the season presser and how they believe in Hawk and all of this, and but this is the same man that gave Drew Holiday the permission. What was it? The permission to compete? Oh, what did he give him? The permission to be an MVP? Some years ago in 29, like, wow, I didn't know that worked like that. My general manager gave me permission, and I go out there and play MVP level ball. Okay, but yeah, Hawk, man, Najee's gone. So you hear me saying what I'm saying about Hawk. I don't think we're able to bring him back. We're looking at the Pels right now, potentially $199 on the books, but it is a 23, I think, $1 million cap hole or something like that with JV. So the first, I think, tax, what do you call it, tax apron or something like that? It's like 170. So we still trying to get another center. We're probably gonna need two centers. One of the center that we never played last year is still under contract. So we're probably gonna need two centers, and we still got to be able to find another point guard while also trading Brandon Ingram and making a money match. I don't see why Najee fits in that. Jose pretty much
Najee.
almost got him. Yeah, Najee gone, man. I think somebody be willing to pay Najee
Yeah,
11, $12 million.
he
We
gone.
ain't paying him that.
Nah, he
We're not
gone.
paying him what we was paying Josh Hart. Man. We're not
Nah,
going to do
he
that.
gone. Nah, he gone.
So you got Dice. You got an open spot for Dice. And by Trey Murphy going in the starting lineup, we move off of BI. You got an open spot for Hawk. So those two guys have to get burned. So I think it can be a situation where it's addition by subtraction. As long as we get the other two pieces, a center and a point guard.
Lex, what you think about that?
I mean, Jayhawk, I think even with Dyson, I think he has the ability to really go a whole lot further than Dyson. Just for the mere fact of his confidence. He's shown the willingness to play defense, but I think he has to really over exaggerate in the defensive department just to get on the floor, because that's what it's going to take, as far as him playing over Dyson. I think once he masters that part, because he's already got the shooting, it's not like he has to work with a shooting coach on that. Just coming off screens and being able to shoot that shot, spot up shooting, off the screen shooting, like between 0 to 3 dribbles, and he can get to the basket or the floater. I mean, he just has so much in his arsenal offensively, and if he can get that versatility in his defensive game, like over the summer, which is very feasible. I mean, it's possible that he can play over. How tall is Jayhawk?
He's like 6'6", I think, or 6'5". He's pretty tall enough.
Yeah, they got him listed as 6'5". Yeah.
I mean, I think he's gonna be motivated, to be honest, because I don't think he liked the fact that he was sitting, especially when, like somebody said, he was on pace to break the 3-point record this year. He was top 3 in the rookie voting for a grit, with Wembanyama and Chet Holmgren, which is really messed up. It would have been nice if Willie would have, just gave him minutes. You know what I'm saying? Especially with his name being, mentioned with those names. And you still had, guys like, Scoot Henderson, the Thompson brothers. You know what I'm saying? Just different cats that, had more clout than Hawk coming in. But I think he's going to be motivated. So it'll be nice to see how his game just grows over in the offseason, coming into, summer league. But I think his approach is going to be very aggressive, to get more playing time, most definitely.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting, man. The Pelicans, man, it's going to be interesting, man. Like we said, we talked about, DC May mentioned about Valanciunas. Pelicans going to need 2 new centers. The guys we had, both of those guys are not on contract anymore.
You know, would be better than 2 new centers.
What would be better than 2 new centers?
3 new centers.
I don't think.
Then we ain't got to see Larry be out there when he ain't supposed to no more.
Yeah, right. I mean,
put him in one of them trade packages, man. Make Willie do the right thing.
But let's look at being that this shows the Pelicans blueprint. I know we, consistently talk about, some of the things that we seen was wrong, and we bring a lot of solutions to it. I think a lot of what's happened to the Pelicans, a lot of the failures that they had, were more were self-inflicted as opposed to things that happen, like injuries that happen to the team, stuff that you can't control. A lot of the coaching decisions and the rotations and the things like that, and not fully understanding what you have in terms of your roster moving forward, knowing who Willie Green is, because Willie Green is not going to change. We would hope that Willie becomes less stubborn and opens up his lineup to play some of these players, because I don't want us to be doing all this research and then we get into it and then we talk about the draft and all this kind of stuff, and let's say they pick up a center or whatever in the draft, and then the Pelicans ultimately, if whoever they pick there, they're going to have to play the guy. We know that most of the time, Willie Green don't lean on these young players. A lot of these younger, unless they're incredibly defensive, and they fit his need right there. But outside of that, whoever the Pelicans, they're going to have to be true to Willie Green, whatever he's doing, and try to feed as much. And that's what David Griffin is obviously doing after he gave him that secret extension last year, as opposed to wait this year to see what happens. That way he could have been a player for Budenholzer, who ultimately got picked up by the Phoenix Suns, who fired Vogel after that.
Yep.
So this is the type of
and
stuff.
And James Borrego is going to interview with the Lakers.
So there you go.
Are you serious? Wow.
Yep, he's one of the candidates, along with JJ Redick. What's that other cat who was with the Brooklyn Nets?
You know what? They just
Atkinson?
sitting there chilling.
Yeah.
They just gonna let that happen.
Yeah, they can't control it. I mean, they can't. They're not.
They gotta let him do the interview, Lex. I mean, you can't stop them.
No,
would you want to be behind Willie Green, or would you want to be a head coach? Can you really blame the man?
Nah, it was a springboard for Borrego, man. Let's just keep it real.
Right. We know what that is.
I'm just saying, we should stick within house, but just look. I know with the recent fires of Darvin Ham and what is that dude's name? Frank Vogel. You can argue that they shouldn't have been fired. Obviously we all know Phoenix is small, don't have a bench, they need a point guard, they're top heavy, all that stuff. Darvin, it's kind of hard with him, especially when it comes to LeBron, because you know what I'm saying? I mean, LeBron is just such a dominant, and I mean, obviously the sayings with the coach and everything, we don't know how much of his influence, because it kind of overshadows if Darvin Ham even was a good coach. But there may have been a huge argument why they were fired, but that wouldn't have been the same if Willie was gone. Because the thing is, we see firsthand his adjustments were atrocious, just consistently. His rotations were really bad. Just his feel for the game was just out of sorts. And, everybody's saying, well, everybody wants to put it on the coach. And it's like, that's not the same situation for the Pelicans. We got to be clear about that. It's not the same situation. I understand that, hey, everybody always wants to put on the coach, get rid of the coach. It was more so the players or the GM didn't put the right pieces around. Man, look, Willie's not a good coach. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. Like, there's a lot of problems. Okay? Not 0-27. I mean, you can't hide that. Losing double-digit leads, okay? Meaning we could have had more wins. We wouldn't have been in the predicament that we would have been in. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, that holds a large weight, man. That holds a large weight. When that man is put in a position to act where he has to coach, it's not looking good. I don't care who you have, unless you have a player that's like, man, bump what that dude says. We gonna do what we gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Unless you have that type of player or players on the floor that are gonna do that, it's it's just tough, man. Like you said, BQ, his stubbornness is
that's the problem.
Because he's set in his ways, man. Whether it works or not, he's gonna stick with it.
Right, but see, that's
it works, which is crazy. Like,
that's a part of the game, though, Lex. I mean, you have to adjust in football, basketball, because people are adjusting with you. So it's a constant. Yeah. It's a constant give and get, all push and pull type of battle that you got to go on. It's constant adjustments. And what really worries me about this, and this is one of the biggest things I might have a problem with. Well, I definitely have a problem with Willie Green going forward, is the fact that they had that horrible 0-26, 0-27 record when they were trailing going into the fourth quarter. He didn't, and then that consistently happened over the year. They did
Never
nothing.
addressed it. It's like nothing was being addressed. All the small nuances that this team had, they were not being addressed. And really, a lot of those things, it just came and bit the team in the butt. I mean, it's like, one thing, the playoffs exposes your weaknesses. It exposes you because the team is only focused on you. They're not playing another team every other day or in the next 2 days. You're going to be playing that same team at least 4 times. So, I mean, all their energy, all their focus is on you, like the matchup. That's what it's about. That's and then making the adjustments. That's what the playoffs is about. And those are the two things that he's not great at. I mean, he's the worst. So it's like, again, I say there's only so far this team can go with Willie at the helm. And that's regardless, like, who we come in. Like, it has to be a player like, hey, forget what that dude is saying. We're gonna go out here and we're gonna do this play. It has to be a cat like that. Or a number of players like that.
Well, that's the thing. And of course, Borrego, like I said, a lot of these coaches, I mean, Willie Green this year, I mean, it's going into it. I don't know how long an extension this was broken a couple of weeks ago. We don't know how many years the extension is. They had several press conferences since then. Obviously, they were instructed not to ask about the extensions because no other information came out about it. That should have been the first question asked. No question was asked about the extensions. About how long did you do this? Were extensions signed and how many years were the extensions? Release the contract information to know how many years you got. This is a foul operation doing this.
And I'm surprised a reporter, when they were doing the exit interviews, I'm surprised a reporter did not ask or probe those questions about the contract, the duration of them. It's like, come on, you guys. Y'all got to ask the right questions. Like, these are the things that we need to know.
They will, I guarantee you, they were instructed not to ask about those contract extensions.
Hey, we need to get some defiant reporters up in this piece then.
Them guys are not going to lose their press badges to ask a tough question to satisfy.
No, if you have that type of clout about you, they don't care. You know how reporters are. Shoot, get one of them New York reporters.
Well, we might need a couple of reporters. Some of these guys, they play the game. That's what they do. A lot of these guys play the game because they rely on that. And that's for their substance. But some other people, they're not as brave or have as much courage as you or, DC or us or the flockers who want to know the truth. We're going to ask regardless. What's going on with this? What's going on with that?
Right. So you got to ask them uncomfortable questions because this team is doing too much sneaky stuff, man. Too much sneaky stuff.
Yeah, this is ridiculous, man. But let's we about to get ready to kind of open the lines, fam. So if y'all want to chime in, this is your opportunity, fam. We didn't do it the last show. But we're doing this. Shout out to DC and Lex. Lex, who can give Lex a shot because this show is because of her. She was like, we got a lot to talk about. We need to do this stuff. So shout out to Lex for sponsoring tonight's episode. Shout out to you, Lex. And that's tonight's show is brought to you by The Edge. You know what I'm saying? By Lex. Yeah. But we got Mose on the line. We're gonna bring Brother Mose in. And we haven't heard from Brother Mose in a while. And he was made famous by his commentary about carnival tricks. And that was a very good episode right there. So we're going to bring in the wise Brother Mose to talk about the future of the Pelicans. Brother Mose, how you doing today, sir? How you feel?
Man, I'm wonderful, man. I'm wonderful. I'm always good. I don't believe in bad days.
There you go. There you go.
Well, you got to remember, I've been a Saints fan since the inception. So, if you believed in bad days, man, there'd be a lot of rainy days around here. You know what I'm saying? So,
hell yeah, you ain't lying on it.
So the way I'm looking at this thing, man, and I'm watching all the moves that other NBA teams are making, I'm gonna tell you the biggest problem we have right now as Saints and Pelican fans. We have an apathetic ownership Tom Benson did us. He did us bad when he left the team to his wife, because she actually is getting the advice from the guy she need to fire. And that's the problem. You got a slick guy like David Griffin. He come with all them slick words and talking all that old slick stuff, which ain't nothing but a bunch of old bullshit that he get to talking, and he never does anything to make anything happen. Man, Darvin Ham got fired. Vogel got fired. Man, Willie Green. We so easy down here, bro. We take this, man. Willie Green is to get his ass up on out of town. He won't play the young kids. He won't develop the young kids. He believes in playing those, like you said, the carnival tricks with Jose. Man, Jose is a matchup dependent guy, depending on who you're playing. He's like a little thing you might take out every now and then and show your friend, look what I got. You know what I'm saying? You put it back, but in case I got to use it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just ridiculous, the things that's going on with these franchises, man. Because if your ownership is like that, bro, you can forget about it. And Gail, what, she's an interior decorator, church going woman. She don't give a damn about no sports. Think about it, man. What's up?
Interior.
Yeah, she used to be an interior decorator, man. Read her bio. You know what I'm saying? And then she
was interior decorator.
Yeah, she messed around and did what women do and worked our wiles on Tom Benson.
Hey, wait a minute.
And then left and she left everything to him, and now we stuck here with a lady, man. God bless her heart. She's a nice lady, whatever. But man, how much you think she cares about this, man? She was in Rome when the playoffs was going on, man. She was out, gallivanting, most probably hanging out with the Pope, because she's the Catholic lady. Man, she could look, bro. You think about the owners that are successful franchise, man. They're aggressive. You got owners that don't take no mess. If you're not doing your job, we're gonna get rid of you. Man, I can't stand the Cowboys, but that old funky ass Jerry Jones would not. Man, he gonna get rid of you. You know what I'm saying? You look at the Pittsburgh is the only franchise that'll give their guys some rope, but they hire good people, and then they can get away with that. But bro, you got a dude like David Griffin, bro. Man, that dude is just a slickster. Think about it. Somebody trying to sell yourself, a politician, used car salesman. He come bullshit us with all these words and stuff he try to use.
That was perfect, Mom.
Yeah, like everybody's stupid down here. Man, look, give me some wins. Do you ask win or not? I don't want to hear all that how we picking the right people. Bro, look, let me tell you something. When I used to coach high school football, my coach used to say, bro, I need some guys who play like they live. You understand what I'm saying? In order to win, you can't win with all choir boys. Oh, we got quality people down there. Bro, I don't care what they do. Dude, they can go home and beat their wives and their kids. As long as they come and do what they got to do on that basketball court, I ain't got nothing to do with that. I don't even want to know anything personal about these guys, man. All I want to know is, can you do your job on that basketball court? If you drink, whatever you, man, I don't care nothing about nobody personal like Zion and all them, what he do with women and stuff, man. I don't care nothing about none of that. That ain't my business. All I know is, can you suit up and can you get me some wins? I don't want to know what you do when you go home. I don't care if you read children's books or go to do this and all that. Man, win basketball game. Oh yeah, CJ McCollum and Larry Nance are so good in the community and stuff like that, bro. We don't need what them people is who got Habitat for Humanity. I don't care. Look, go join Habitat for Humanity. Get off my basketball team. Can you score buckets? You know what I'm saying? You got CJ. He got into that isolation mode in the playoffs, man. CJ makes $30 million. Hey, bro, this is the NBA. I don't really want to count them guys' money. Whatever they can sign for, they can sign for. But CJ McCollum at this point now has to move into like a 6-man role. He doesn't do enough to me. You got to bring that guy off the bench, go find you a point guard, and then you go from there with that thing, man. But the bottom line is, I'm gonna tell you guys, we can have all the shows we want to. We can feel however we want to feel, but as long as our ownership is the way it is, man, we pissing in the wind.
Yeah,
that's all we pissing in the wind right now. We just wasting our time. And God bless y'all heart for having these shows. And I hear Lex with all our trade moves and the things we should do and all that. Man, that stuff sounds good. I kind of wish you was the GM. At least what my grandmother used to say. My grandmother used to say, nothing beat a failure but a try. These guys won't even try nothing, man.
No.
They won't even try nothing. We had Daniel Gafford. Man, them people gave Daniel Gafford away for pennies on the dollar.
We did.
Yeah, we're gonna sit here. We want to see what this group can do together and all kinds of stuff like that.
That was crazy.
Crazy. But Griff talked to us like we fools with wooden heads. And we
Mm-hmm.
we listen to that stuff. Yeah, with all of these words and yeah, we're gonna be proactive this year and we're gonna do this and we want quality people and then now then he give us this bullshit about how Oklahoma City they had a chance to grow organically without any pressure of winning. Dude, we hadn't
No.
won since Chris Paul been here. What the hell are you talking about? You had no pressure to win. Ain't no pressure in New Orleans like that to win ball game. That's just a bunch of bullshit. That dude is so slick, and people believe that. That's what's so crazy.
Yeah,
He sounds like a
man.
Baptist minister. Man, when I'm around David Griffin, bro, I'm keeping my hand in my pocket, man. I don't trust that dude, boy. I mean, he like one of them old dudes, them church ministers, tithes and offerings, just getting all his money from people. He living good and everybody else living bad. That's what the hell going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, he the only man God blessing. You know, that's how you doing something in church. You know,
Oh man.
prosperity and everything. Yeah, Griffin is the only person getting blessed because he ain't got nobody checking on him. He's saying all of this crazy stuff, and what does he do? You know what I'm saying?
Nothing.
Let me tell you something, man. My son, I got a 17-year-old son getting ready to graduate. And he was telling me when the draft was going on a couple of years ago, he said, Dad, he said, Jay Will is the person we need to take. He said, I've been looking at all of this stuff. He said, man, Dyson Daniels don't have an offensive game. He still got some development to do. He said, this guy's a little bit older and he can do more, right? And he's 15 years old at the time. How could he know that? And Trajan Langland don't know that. And look what Jay Will has turned into. Man, we don't have a playmaking guy that we can give the ball to that's a 3-level scorer that can get by people. Brandon Ingram can't get by anybody. And then the bad thing about Brandon Ingram, bro? Man, that dude curved. Now, anybody know anything about the street? You know what I mean when you curve, when you go to them different kind of fights and they say the thing curve. Man, he wouldn't even, this dude wouldn't even fight. He should have pinched his daughter, bit him or something. Man, this dude didn't fight at all.
Bite him on his ear.
Man, do something to him. I mean, blowing his ear like your boy did LeBron James or something. Man, this dude quit. Man, you think that's the type of dude I want to go somewhere with? Man, that dude quit. Man, this is a professional athlete making $30 million a year, and he quit. And Willie Green left him out there. Man, y'all can say what y'all want, bro. Man, Willie Green not no good basketball coach. He's a brother and everything, and we pulling for him because we won't see a brother do right or whatever and do good. Remember, Willie Green has got to go, man.
Yeah.
Him, David Griffin, Trajan Lang, and all them people, man, they need to go.
Yeah.
There's some people here that want to do something, want to take chances, want to take risks. We're a small market team, man. We have to be creative.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, man? We just sitting here, waiting on things to happen. But once again, there's no accountability in the media. The media ask the questions that they're told to ask. If you say something about the Pelicans, it's to my understanding, they get pissed off and write something to people if you say something about them. Man, this is crazy. But only in New Orleans. Only in New Orleans, man, we gonna take this foolishness. What's going on? Gail Benson go pay for some layaways at Walmart and we get fooled by some stuff like that. I don't care nothing about that. I don't need her to pay for nothing for me. Get the team right. That's what we need. Get the team right. Get rid of Mickey Loomis over there and get rid of David Griffin and go get us some GMs that know what the hell they're doing and not just bullshitting everybody and then get on the radio and talk to people like you just, man, like we ain't got no sense. Like
you know what, Mose, that's great points, man. And and this is and I was talking to Lex and DC about this. We mentioned this. The firing what Phoenix did. Phoenix won, if I'm not mistaken, 49 games, just like the Pelicans.
Mm-hmm.
And they fired Vogel after it was his first year. That was 49 wins. They got him out of there. Also, they got rid of fired Ham. And Ham ran through the Pelicans. Pelicans had 2 shots at Ham's team, couldn't beat them, had to beat a team that we were in their head, the Kings, to get into the playoffs, to get stumped out 4 straight by OKC. It just shows you the seriousness of these other organizations. Look how fast Phoenix fired Frank Vogel.
Next day.
And immediately pinpointed Budenholzer, Coach Bud. They got him and signed him to a. This is a championship coach that has, and he's up under the Popovich school, isn't he? I think that's he's tied.
Yep. He came off that Popovich tree,
and he had success in Atlanta. He had success in Milwaukee. He was unrighteously fired in Milwaukee. I thought he had a tragedy that happened, and they used that they'd get they deserve every goddamn thing that they're going through Milwaukee, how they did Coach Bud. But he ultimately resurfaced in Phoenix, and that is going to be a problem for the Pelicans, and we couldn't do nothing with them with Frank Vogel.
Yeah, but they got a roster construction problem themselves too. They too top heavy, and they got that with them aprons and all that stuff they talking about now in the new deal. So they kind of hamstrung because of that.
But Mose, they have a new owner. The new owner stepped in there. He bought the team this year.
Yeah, he got plenty of money to do Michigan State.
49 wins wasn't enough. They decided to move it on. The Pelicans' philosophy, and you're right. You said easy. And that's what I've been doing. I've been talking as real as I can to people to get them to kind of hear where I'm coming from, because I don't want them to get caught up with this cotton candy bullshit that Octopus telling them. And the Saints do. I attack both these teams the same way. I'm hard vicious against Mickey Loomis because it's some BS that Mickey Loomis is doing over there. He needs to give up that general manager job to a younger person who's in the building that can run it better than he could. They have more, but he being selfish with it and holding on to it. So I fire at him any chance that I can get. When it comes down to David Griffin, I nicknamed him the Octopus because he's a micromanager. And he doesn't have and he's milking this championship that he got with Cleveland when that was LeBron did that. LeBron was telling him, get me this guy, get me that guy, like he does when he goes everywhere. So, I mean, hell, if I was the goddamn general manager of the Cleveland Cavaliers at that time, and LeBron was on the team, I would have been able to have a championship ring with him telling me what to do.
Hey, man, you know what David Griffin remind me of? You ever watch Game of Thrones and you got the little cat? Tyrion Lannister, the little person, but the only difference is Griffin is slimy.
Yeah, this is, and then Gail falling for this stuff.
Tyrion was actually intelligent, though.
Exactly, but Green is, I mean, your boy is too, but the difference is he's slimy. Tyrion wasn't slimy, so he's a slimy smart dude.
He more clever than me than intelligent. He think he's smarter than everybody else, and really everybody can see right through him. He's clever. But he ain't intelligent to me.
Man, if he was a kid, you remember that kid you just slap upside the head all the time? That's what he remind me of. Because always trying to run his mouth, and everybody just slap him upside his head. Because he's a little tiny dude.
I just what I'm saying is when Griffin came in here, man, I don't need to hear this beautiful human stuff and all this kind of stuff. And then you talking about good people. And
that's really played out.
That come on, bro. That's man, and like Mo said it really good.
They kill good people win championships, bro.
All right, go ahead.
Mo
good
said,
people and beautiful humans.
But listen to what Mo said, and that's a lot of wisdom in what he said, though, DC. He said that you're not gonna win with a bunch of choir boys. Look what happened. Look what happened with OKC. If the Pelicans had fight in them, they wouldn't have got ran through like what happened with the OKC series.
The energy wasn't.
Quiet boys don't be balking on the ground either.
We don't need no more good dudes, man. We
quiet boys turn the other cheek. They don't fight. The quiet boys turn the other cheek and start praying. That's what the Pelicans did. That's why I call them the ass team. They was shut.
Man, we look like a bunch, bro. We look like a bunch of sissies out there, bro. I ain't lying, brother. With them dudes punked us. They straight punked us. And we took it. Man, I'm like, man, what kind of cat?
And that's crazy, man. Because the city ain't nothing like that. That is not a good representation of like the people in New Orleans. We are not like that.
They're not like that. Hey, bro, look.
I mean, the city got a whole lot of fight.
Look, I live here in Houston, bro. When you get to saying something and they find out where you from, bro, they be like, oh, okay. They correct themselves quickly. You understand what I'm saying? Because you got the reputation of knocking somebody out if that's what it takes. Or, you know, if that's what it is, what it is. That's what I'm saying. The team is so different from the way the people in the city and around Louisiana, all of Louisiana like that, man. People don't take no shit. These guys, man, I don't get that. And then we got somebody like David Griffin talking that old crazy talk to us like we damn fool. Man, somebody ought to put a for sale sign in his yard and get him out of here.
I agree, man, and that's what we've pinpointed him and called him out here because he a propagandist. He
That's
comes.
all he is.
He's a propaganda
Exactly.
man. He says say the same buzzwords over and over again. The sustainable bullshit. Listen, bro, we don't want to hear none of that, man. This team, it ain't about beautiful human beings and good human
So
beings.
you don't believe we're gonna take it serious this offseason? We're gonna make imminent changes and all
Talk,
this.
Yeah, I mean, he should have been doing that last season. Like,
but
you have to continue to,
You should have did
get
that the
better.
first season after you got rid
Listen,
of
thank
Allen
you.
Gentry.
You can't be complacent at any time. The West has always been, very competitive. Always. When is the West not competitive?
Dude just trying to figure out the way to keep getting his paycheck from dumb
You know what
people.
I'm
That's all
saying?
that
I
is.
mean, when he said that, I was like, dog, that made absolutely no sense.
yeah, the West is
You
always.
know, it wasn't competitive last season or the season before.
Can you
Well,
imagine him sitting down having a conversation with Gail Benson, telling all that crazy stuff, and she sits down there thinking about
She
fabricating
gonna
cause
believe
Man, that man
she
is
gonna
taking
believe all
cancer,
that.
which is just sad,
yeah,
man.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's the problem. Gail Benson is the problem, man. She is the problem because she takes this stuff and she listens to Greg Benzel and all these other people who Tom Benson left in place, a bunch of old fools. That man, they just bullshitting everybody, man. That's
man,
all they do.
I
Yeah.
said that about Mickey Loomis Mickey Loomis and first of all, the people that run those sides, the president of football and basketball operations, the guy don't know football or basketball. That's a businessman that sits on top of that. The number one guy up under Gill is a man named Dennis Lucia.
That's
He's
right. And they
both
making
sides,
money.
and
That's all
he's
they
a
do. They
businessman.
making money.
He defers all football questions to Mickey and all basketball questions to David Griffin. Now, the issue is with that, if you're going to do that and have an all trust situation like that, you got to have some stand up individuals.
Okay, this is
And
my question to you
they,
then.
they had, they
Tell
had a
me.
chance to have a Joe Dumars, but they Tom Benson didn't want to pay him what he wanted. That's why we
Big
have
Q.
a job.
Big Q. So who you think making the hiring and firing decisions right now with the different operations? Is it
That's
Luke?
It's not Dennis Lucia. The hiring and firing is being handled by
Lawson?
Loomis on one side, and on the other side is David Griffin.
But who do they answer to? That's the guy.
They answer to Dennis Lucia on both sides.
So we need to get somebody in the media to get him on the radio or on in print. So we need to check him. We need to find out what he's thinking about because whoever's making the decision, he's the one that's screwing all this thing up.
Mose, they already had there was an interview he did on the football side. I covered it on the Coma, and he said that Mickey Loomis is doing a good job. And I said, how is he doing a good job? And when he hadn't been in the playoffs in 3 years, what are you talking about, man? That's what I'm saying. He's doing a good job. Now he didn't misspeak. You got to see because how some of these cats talk. He's doing a good job because they're making money. So my thing was to stop them from making money to make you understand you're gonna change this one way or the other. That's what we trapped in right now.
Man,
secret. This is underhanded as it gets down here, man. Secret extensions because you're doing it because you know you're not supposed to do it. If you sign this man in November sometime, now it's coming out word on the street. They signed this man Willie, and these other people in somewhere in November of last year, and then leaked it to the press 2 weeks ago that. Yeah, there's extensions, and then don't allow them to ask the questions to follow up the extension. This is underhanded bullshit going on with the Pelicans, man.
Yeah, you right about propaganda because this definitely being ran like the Soviet Union down there.
That's what I'm saying. So we don't know the cold-blooded part about this. We don't know how many years these extensions are, and there's no pressure on Willie Green to do anything because then
they didn't want to put the pressure on him. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That makes absolutely no sense. We ain't trying to make that diamond, are we?
No, you got a weak team, Lex, is what you got. They won 49 games, but when the crunch was on in games where they were losing in the fourth quarter, these people 0-27 in these contests. Yeah. That's a big problem.
It's like
you had all year long. You had Draymond Green. You had Draymond Green insulting them. You had Jimmy Butler insulting them. And they're going to keep insulting them because the people know that the Pelicans.
Don't forget Shaq, Charles Barkley. Well, Ernie didn't really insult us.
All of them. They disrespect because they know that's what Barkley and
them said. You forgot Stephen A. I'm surprised Shannon Sharp.
All of that. Because and then
there was what you had the show say about it?
He gonna agree with
Oh
him.
shoot!
He
He's a
Lakers.
LeBron sexual. So
Hey, bro,
Oh
you think
yeah.
about any of these other organizations, bro. After so long, bro, they get rid of the GM. I don't care who you are. If you're not winning after 3-4 years, they get rid of your guy. The GM, the coaches, man, we don't get rid of anybody down there, man. There's no accountability whatsoever, bro. None.
Remember, let me remember this. Let's go back. Remember when Elvin Gentry was in the final year of his contract, David Griffin had took the job. When David Griffin came in, remember he kept Elvin Gentry the first year. And
Yeah,
that was
he worked with him in Phoenix.
it was speculation that he was supposed to be fired. And I was saying when he came in, man, don't keep this guy, fire this guy. Get
Yep.
rid of him. They kept him for 1 year. And then when they said he was coming back, they talked about it to Gail. And Gail talked about he's such a nice man.
Yeah.
Great and wonderful, nice man. I was like, man, what are y'all talking about here? Because these people are
nothing.
making money, man. That's the problem. If and this he's stuck in a cycle. If we got to stop him, don't go down there and buy their shit. And I keep telling people that over and over again. That's how we changed the game. Before, when the Saints was a laughing stock, you don't support them, and when they start seeing the money fall, they start making changes because they're making money. Why would they stop?
Well,
It's
let's
what
bring
looks
the
good on
bags back then,
paper.
bro. Let's bring the bags back.
Stop supporting them. I've been telling people that for the side, man. I'm not going down there, man. I'm not giving you.
I'm so sick of David Griffin and Mickey Loomis, bro. I'm sick of them dudes, bro. Them dudes are clowns.
Clowns, unqualified.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to hear about family, culture,
none of that.
anything along them lines no more.
I'm tired of human beings. I'm gonna be
Focus needs to be on winning.
tired of human beings, Lex.
Yeah, I don't want good human beings. Bring in all the criminals.
This ain't church. That's what I'm saying.
Look, they can play and ball and hoop and be dogs. Let's go, man.
Yeah, we want to bring.
Yeah, Carlton said, bring in some mean. Yeah, Carlton said, bring in some mean human beings, man. Why don't you? I mean, we need mean human beings like Lou Dort. Like Jay Williams. Let's bring in some mean humans like these guys. If they're gonna play like that and play with some heart, we don't need no.
Exactly. I mean, and that's what the fan base wants. It's like when you all are out on that court, man. From the jump, y'all need to come out and have that energy. Like, be ready to play. Be ready to play, and not just play, man. Play with some conviction. Like, I mean, they just need that part. If they just had that part, that would go a long ways. Obviously, we want them to have skill, knock down shots, be aggressive on both ends of the floor. But golly, that energy is everything. Because like game 1 of OKC, that was their best game. They started getting worse as the games went along.
Yep.
And OKC was getting better, which is really sad. I'm like, how we go from that first game was the peak of playing the best game, and then it just declined from there.
Well, part of the issue too, Willie Green, being that he was a journeyman player himself, hung around the fringe of the roster, and that's the type of players he likes. So that's why he like Jose and Najee so much. And you got lottery picks sitting on the bench that they won't even develop. Man, just the whole thought of that.
That's awful, man.
That's ass like
philosophy,
so that's
the
after 9, after
strategy,
10, after 12. Man, that's
the
stupid.
game plan. That's definitely a checkers mentality.
Man, that's crazy. But to me, why would you draft these guys and don't try and develop them because they got more talent to help? Man, Jose is a nice guy, bro. I ain't got nothing against Jose, man. He comes in and he do certain things. But if that's what you're going to hang your hat on, as the guy coming off your bench, as the spark you need, damn a spark. I need baskets. I need defense. Man, that stuff is, just the whole thought of that, man. The whole thought process of drafting these guys that are shooters and wings. What the NBA is going to right now is wing, 3-and-D guys, wing guys who can put the ball on the floor and do a little bit. We still messing around with the stuff we mess around with, bro. And nobody, we have these little shows and we say something or whatever. But man, bro, if I didn't know any better, man, Willie Green he looked like Jethro Bodine sitting up there when they asking him questions, man, about different things, man.
Yeah, with that dumbfounded facial expression.
Little dumb look on his face. Exactly, man. Look. Sometimes I wish this was New York because the New York media don't play that.
No, they don't.
They don't play
Same
that.
thing with Philly.
Same thing in Philly. Those people hold those guys accountable, bro. Look, Willie Green, this is third year, man. If the team don't do nothing, if you keep him this year, he got to get his ass up on out of here. He got to get up on out of here. Him and David Griffin both, man. You know, man, them guys been here long enough, man. If you look at all these other franchises, bro. After 3 or 4 years, when they bring a new regime in, if they don't do anything, they fire them, and you keep looking till you find the right person to get you where you need to get. Right now, we don't have the right coach, and we don't have the right general manager.
No.
I mean, and to me, man, I just can't believe that the reporters sat up there and listened to David Griffin talk that old dumb shit like people stupid.
And didn't even ask about the right questions. They didn't probe or ask the right questions, which is they were too nice. I would have pounced on a whole bunch of things. Like, look, dude.
But what he does is he disarm them with with his voice and the words he used. He disarm those guys. You know what I'm saying? He make those guys think he's nice and he's on their side, and he's giving them the information that they need, so they won't ask him a tough question. He makes it seem like it's all a friendly gathering of good human beings. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
bro. I know one thing, bro. That man got some bullshit with him, bro. I got to give it to him. he's like born.
If you come in there being a mean human being, they go kick your ass out of the building.
Or Will Rogers said there's a sucker born every minute, and that's the way he treats the New Orleans media. Not just the New Orleans media, he treats us all that way. Every last one of us, he treats us that way because he know he can do what he want, and he doesn't have to worry about an interior decorator, church-going woman bugging him. You don't have to worry about that. She don't care nothing about no man. That woman, think about it. You think that woman ever went to a football or a basketball game before she met Tom Benson?
She probably sat on the bench and watched him play or something.
No, watch Tom Benson play?
Tom Benson is
as a spectator.
No, you know Tom
Benson. He ain't got a leg ball in his body.
Tom Benson was an old man when
he didn't have.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she's probably a trophy wife then.
She comes. Gail had money before she got.
Like 75 when he married that woman.
That's right. The children didn't like it
when he got married. That's like the third one.
Right. He put his children down for Gail. His children down for Gail.
With the women.
Right.
The right woman to make you put a lot of things down. I guess that means he put some things down.
Yeah, Gail was doing that
thing. Maybe Gail don't just go to church.
Oh wow. Okay. Where else did she go, Mose? Where else did she go?
The children's show, Mose.
Hey, this is a family show, man. It's a family show.
Is it Big Q?
I thought it was.
Family show, Big Q. You got to use your imagination on that.
Okay.
Hey DJ, are you here, man? I got DJ about to chop in. DJ, how you doing, bro? DJ?
He ain't sleeping.
He's still up. Damn.
DJ? DJ, are you awake? Okay, DJ. I think DJ is sleeping, man.
Oh man.
Yeah, we took that long for DJ to sleep.
DJ works a lot, man.
Hey, what y'all thinking? What y'all would have thought? What y'all think? Where you guys think we would be if Rita?
Okay, you just cut out.
Mose, your sound went out, brother. I think he froze.
I'm good.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, okay.
Where y'all think we would be if Rita took over the ownership instead of Gail?
Rita would have.
We'd be in the finals, I believe. We probably could have.
Me too.
Won one, or we at least been there.
I knew she knew the game. Tom Benson, before Gail got involved, she was the heir apparent to take over the team, and she was passionate about football. She knew football not as much as he did, but he schooled her well, and she was aggressive in there, and she was decisive. I think under them, she wouldn't have played all this stuff. See, they're getting over on Gail because Gail is trusting these guys that Tom Benson left her, and Mickey Loomis is getting over. There's no he getting over. He taking advantage of her, and that's the same thing with David Griffin. They taking advantage of the fact that she doesn't know those sports like she's supposed.
But she can't, man. Think about it, man. Think about it. You know, you think back to a girl you might have dated that she don't know anything about sports, anything like that. That's about what she is. She's just a nice lady who, you know, you could tell she wasn't a sports fan. You know,
Well, she was hanging around as she met him, but he was mostly a businessman. They might have met, you know, at a gathering because he was
at church.
Yeah, he was an active guy.
Or somewhere else.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know, I remember reading a story and she said that Tom Benson was different from other men. He wasn't just after one thing. He was a nice man and all kinds of stuff like that. I'm like Benson, he's 75, 80 years old when he met. What he gonna be after other than companionship?
Oh, he seen something in Gail he liked, man. Gail was a ride or die, man.
Yeah, but man, I wish you would have picked another. I wish you'd have picked somebody who likes sports, man. Shit.
But that's the thing. It's like it's the vision that she has on these teams is his vision. Gail doesn't have her own vision. She's using his vision, which is a problem. You're over relying on these people. And like I said, Dennis Lucia, he's a good businessman, but he shouldn't be the president of these teams. He shouldn't be because he doesn't know enough about either one of these sports to be considered the president of it. How are you the president of the team and the vice presidents know more about their respective sports than you do? I mean, that don't make sense to me.
Q, you know how most of these owners treat these franchises that they own in professional sports? Because most of those guys are billionaires, but all those guys are billionaires, and they were real competitive. So when they get a professional franchise, it's a competitive situation, and they're trying to win because that's not where they make their money at, right? This is just something that they do for ego and excitement and stuff like that. Our owner's not like that because she's not a competitive person like that.
No, that's a money thing.
Yeah, it's a money thing.
Money thing, ain't no doubt about it. And like I said, she's making a lot of money. Gail has made $1 billion each year over the last several years. She's made $1 billion more. She went from like 6 to 7 to 8 to 9, and she's the richest person in the state of Louisiana, and it's the reason why. You know, she's that rich. Not even talking about all the businesses that in the real estate holdings and every other thing that she got going on that Tom Benson had gave over to her. He basically gave her everything and wrote everybody else out. He kicked his children out of there, reading all them out of there. They didn't like Gail because they said Gail was, instead of giving them his medicine, she was giving them candy and wine to drink. All that was in the documents, man.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Hey, man, I know about all these people shit, man. This is
why'd you say candy and wine? Why does it?
That's what they said in the documents.
Because you can't make that up, Lex. You can't make that shit up.
Man,
put that combination together.
We sat there underestimating Gail. Now I got to rethink this.
Right here.
I got a question, y'all, for y'all, man. Who is in charge of the Lions ownership? Isn't that a lady?
Oh, the Lions? No, that's
Henry Clay. That's granddaughter.
That's the Fords, ain't it?
Yeah, the Ford family. That was Henry Clay Ford's granddaughter, I think.
Yeah, that's the Fords.
Yeah, but
they look like they're doing pretty good over there.
But DC, that's different though, bro. That's a family thing they've been owning for a long time. So that's like a family business. That's a little different than her inheriting the team. You see what I'm saying? Her inheriting, you don't know nothing about.
Yeah, that team been in their family since its inception, right? We don't have an interior decorator who married into some wealth and got a team. You know what I'm saying? That's something that's totally different. That woman, the Lions were their life, and they were lovable losers forever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Virginia McCaskey, who was running the Bears before her son took over.
And was Georgia from the Rams?
Yeah, way back in the day. Yeah, she married the Rosenblum man. And then she took over the team, and she had a power struggle with his son, Steve Rosenblum. I remember all of that. I'm old, man. I remember all of that stuff. But at least Georgia Frontier was her name. Man, that woman was a looker. So I see what she went on and put them wiles on that man, because she was a young woman he married. He was an old man. You know what I'm saying? So she worked for what she got. I don't know what Gail did.
Gail did the same thing.
Man, I can't. Man, I'm looking at Gail, man, and I'm just saying to myself, I don't know, man. That money look good.
Gail is a good looking woman though, man. Gail is pretty hot in her days.
Money, of course you look good, Big Q.
Huh?
I said when you got a whole lot of money, of course you look good. Anybody can look good with a whole lot of money.
That might be a point right there, Lex. You might have something on that one. But
that's what I'm saying.
But let me switch gears. Let me kind of switch gears here and kind of do this. I know y'all, everything y'all firing off, and you're absolutely right. It's a big problem we got going on with the Saints and Pelicans. And trusting these people, and they just creating all these weird narratives and moving the bar. But based on that, and we know about the secret extensions, we're not very happy about that. That's very underhanded. But we got a stubborn ass head coach. But let's try to see if we can come up with some. Let's help them out, because we've been doing this for a while. DC will tell you off top that a lot of the things that we say on here, the team ends up doing it, right, DC?
Oh yeah, man.
Tell them about some of the things that we talked about on the show and that they were going to do. So let's kind of go into that. Let's give them some solutions, because we know they're listening. Let's give them some solutions. Okay, so Lex, outside
just like the Celtics traded Doc to the Clippers.
My dog Slim says, "Stop buying the nachos." That's right, Slim. Them $20, the $20 nachos. We not.
Did they have 50% off during the OKC?
Wasn't coming to that. We'll give you.
They should have had everything for free.
I'm telling you, that's how the team is playing. That's such a disrespect.
The first thing we got to stop doing is tearing Brandon Ingram down if we're trying to sell him. Man, you're not gonna try to sell your house and then tell people you got Chinese drywall up, huh? We got to stop that, because we need to get top dollar for him. So two ways you can go with this, right? I mean, to me, either you can sign him right away and then you can sell him off doing it right at the trade deadline, because you have to have so many, like 6 months before you can get rid of a guy if you get a contract. And now you can shop him around a little bit now and throw out some feelers and see if you can get what you want for him. But if not, you got to sign him and then get rid of him before the trade deadline.
Okay.
I heard Lexxah the other show talking about Trae Young, right? And this is my issue right here, and it's just my opinion. I would go for DeJounte Murray, because I think Trae Young is an inefficient player and he can't defend me. So, I mean, can we hide him enough on defense for what he's gonna give us on offense, or do we go with DeJounte Murray, who's gonna be more of a complete player, but maybe not as good of a floor spacer as Trae Young?
You feel like Steph Curry is a efficient defender most?
But the issue becomes, how can you play Trae Young and CJ McCollum in the backcourt together?
No. If you get Trae Young, you gotta get CJ out of here.
Yeah.
That don't go like that.
They just said that they're not gonna get rid of CJ because of his leadership and what he does.
Everything that don't talk about on
they did say he wasn't untouchable though. So for the right player, maybe.
So who would want CJ?
I think a team like possibly Philly, maybe Golden State look like they in it's picking up other people expensive trash.
That's
Miami. I'm just saying, well, Chris Paul is not exactly trash, but $40 million. I didn't understand that trade. What they thought was going to happen with that. That was clear.
It was an expiring contract, right? So he's coming off
Orlando, possibly. I mean, I know they're interested in Klay Thompson.
Orlando, you look at a team like Miami, Milwaukee. They might be interested in pairing him back up with Dame. I actually think that would work out really well.
Yeah, that could be a possibility too.
San Antonio, maybe somebody who would be interested in CJ. They got a lot of teams I think could use a guy like him.
You
ain't getting a lot. You ain't getting a whole lot back. You just basically getting off of that contract.
You got to match salaries too. Your salaries.
That's it. You matching salaries and you getting what you want with your picks. Like the picks is for you to get something back. And you probably got to throw an extra pick in there just for them doing a favor to take him on. But I think teams will take on CJ. I mean, the dude was number 2 in the whole league and pull up 3-pointers. Like he had amazing 3-point percentage. He did a lot of good stuff. in the regular season, but in the playoffs, that
So
shit
what you
ain't
gonna
nothing.
do? What you gonna do about the center position? You don't have a center right
I
now.
me personally, I said I think we should go after Jonathan Isaac. I don't think Lando is
He's not a center.
serious about they play him at center, and we want to do small ball. I think he's the perfect small ball center where you go that, and I still draft a big man. So I try to go after him, and I draft a guy.
You know what I would try and do? And I would take a chance with this, right? I would try to trade Brandon and maybe Dyson. See if I can get Utah to give me Marketing and Sexton. And the reason why I say that because if we're gonna play the game like we want to and spread the floor, let's live and die with Marketing at center. Because really, there really isn't a lot of back to the basket pound you centers in the NBA, right? So most of the centers want to play facing.
They like stretch fours.
Yeah, they want to play facing the goal. So you know what? If I'm gonna go all the way in on offense, let's go all the way in on offense, right? And then you still got Herb. You're gonna start Trey Murphy because you got to give him a contract. And the only reason why Trey gets a max contract because that's just what the league is right now. Because his game, his game ain't all the way there yet, man. He's got a raggedy handle. And he flops all over the court trying to get to the goal, and somebody blowing him, he falls down. You know what I'm saying? But we got, that's what we have, right? So, it's just because you got to give up a max contract to him because to be honest with you, I don't know if he's an all-star. I mean, he's a one-trick pony. You know what I'm saying? He's a catch and shoot guy. And like I said, or either get to the goal and try and dunk the basketball. He has no in-between game. Not that he can't develop that, but man, he's got to work on his handle. Handle raggedy, man.
Yeah, I agree, Moses. But you look around the league and you see what these guys getting paid. You really can't
Oh yeah,
argue with
that's what
paying
I'm
him
saying. You
that.
gotta
He
pay him.
worth
You
it
gotta pay him.
compared to what the other guys, getting. And
Yeah,
you got dudes way worse than him.
and then
On
he
all
fits
the parts
well.
you just mentioned, getting money.
He fits well with Zion, right? But to me, I like Colin Sexton, man, coming off my bench. A guy can go and get you 20 off the bench. I like a guy like that. Right? We don't have a guy like that. If you look at everybody else in the playoffs right now, they
Man,
got a guy that can go get a bucket.
Yeah.
how you go with Markham in at center, bro? But you against having Trey Young at point guard, man. I'm not wrapping my head around that one.
Because the
I
NBA,
get what you're
Zion,
saying with Markham in. Like I was like, okay, that could work. But like it's the same thing with having Trey Young at center. Everybody's gonna have a defensive liability if you're overpowered
well,
offensive
I
team, in
want
my
I want
opinion.
my defensive liability to be tall, not short.
Okay.
That's just my thing, man. I like there's an old adage in sports that a good big man is better than a good little man any day. So that's the way I look at it, right? I mean, they both can pretty much but you got to find a ball handler, right? So that's where Sexton come in for you, right? Because we don't have a guard, man. We don't have a playmaking guard, and that's part of our problem.
Well, I don't know about marketing. I know Utah was saying that they're looking for like 4 or 5 picks. Same thing that with the Gobert situation for marketing. But
Yeah,
I
but if
think
somebody
it
gonna give
might
you
be.
that,
Yeah, we didn't think that would happen for Gobert either. But look what happened.
but
Yeah, the people say they want 4 picks for that dude, man.
has there
And
been a
they've been
Yeah, I
trade like
mean
saying
that
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 for
for
was
Prince
it was
about
Gobert?
2 years
crazy.
now.
Has there been
And
a
I think the same thing was similar with D Mitch. So I mean, I think Sexton, I think he's probably more feasible. You know what I'm saying? But marketing, the way that the Utah's talking, they talking like he's untouchable.
yeah, but they
Unless
just
I'm scared of Danny Ainge though, man. I don't want David Griffin going over there talking to Danny Ainge, bro. He gonna get killed, man. He
he's
gonna
gonna
be
get
another person come
gonna
out that
get
gets
out
slaughtered.
yeah, gonna
I
get
mean,
out
some people
hustled.
say Donovan Mitchell might be available.
Yeah,
But
I
Donovan
mean,
Mitchell said he want to be on the winner, so he gonna have a lot of say so in where he want to go. Because I think he's basically up after this year. So if he
yeah,
telling people like I'm not signing, I'm not gonna sign the extension, they're probably not gonna trade him. Will we be stupid enough to trade for the man and he say he's not gonna sign the extension?
Well,
No,
I
you
mean,
can't do that.
obviously they would talk to him before that. They, that never happens as far as
No,
after
I'm
that.
just
They
saying,
would,
like he know he coming here. He like, no, I don't want to come there. I'm not gonna sign the extension. You know what? Will we still do it and try to win him over?
well, they gonna need to talk, but talk to him first. I mean,
Man,
that
I'm
would
just
be the
watching.
wisest thing to
I'm
do.
just watching, like, what the game is becoming with Chad Holmgren and Wembenyama. Man, those guys are slightly built centers that, they're not there for defense, man. They're there to score points and rebound. So that's why I like somebody like Marklin playing your center, because you're going to have to match up with people, man. Right? So,
Yeah.
and you got a guy like Zion, bro. If Zion really dedicates himself to saying, okay, I'm going to get in shape year round and add a little bit more to my game, you put him on the court with Trey and marketing, bro, you're not going to be stopped by anybody in the NBA. I don't give a damn who it is.
Maybe that's the answer. Maybe we run a small ball lineup with Zion this year. Zion
But,
come back in shape,
no,
more
no, no,
muscle.
no.
No,
I think
that's
you
not. That's not what's gonna allow him to last. He does not need to be playing the 5.
exactly.
That was
Marketing is
that
7
was
feet
weird
tall.
that Willie came out with that on media day, talking about like that was the emphasis, and it's like that made absolutely no sense, especially when he came off of Point Zion and we saw that Point Zion worked.
Man, give
So
me a pick and pop guy, man. Look at Chet Holmgren, man. He's a pick and pop guy. He's no more center than marketing is. They're both 7 feet tall.
I'm capping about Zion being full time center, but I think that is a thing we should do to end our games. To end our games, you get as much shooting out there as possible. The Warriors' death lineup, it took them forever to try it. And when they've done it this year, it was actually successful a lot of times. There are some games where it didn't look right. And obviously, you can't do it for too long. But I think we need to, whoever we get at whatever position, we need guys to be versatile, man. Everybody in the perfect scenario needs to be able to play defense because of who the coach is and how they gonna go at it. And whoever you put around Zion, they got to be able to shoot.
Man,
mm,
I like marketing,
It's a
bro.
bunch of
Even
different
if
ways you can do it. But you want about 4 first round picks for Morgan and Moles? Because that's what
I
they're
just
saying
I
it's gonna
just
take.
think I don't think
And knowing
nobody's gonna.
knowing we could have had him with Lonzo Ball and we didn't,
Well, that's David Griffin again. He took what the boy named Saturansky or whatever his name, Saddle.
oh
Some bullshit.
wow, that's crazy.
because you saw what they gave him away for. Remember when they gave him away to Utah? They didn't.
Yep.
Utah didn't spend a whole lot to get Markham.
Did the
What was it, like
Pelicans
a
win
couple
that
of second round
trade?
picks or something?
They didn't give away much, man. I
We,
think
we
about
were
this.
we were here man in 2020. What was that day? That was 2020. Saying we should get that dude when we knew Lonzo Ball. We kept saying it, man, over and over and over. And now we're
Yeah.
gonna turn around and we're gonna go spend 4 picks for him. Man, that'd be an
Well, when
epic
you think
fail, man.
about, man, I'd rather give up the
You
draft pick
got to
because
you
we
have to be a
draft
Hall of
so.
Famer for that not to be an epic
I'd
fail.
rather give up some picks, bro, because we draft so bad, man. We took Kyrie Lewis over Maxi. We took
Well,
we took
that was Griff's pick.
yeah, we took Kyrie Lewis over Maxi. We took Dyson Daniels over Jay Will. Man, could you imagine if we had the two guys right now, man? Man, we'd be champions with Zion, man. Shit, them dudes all were drafted after Zion, man.
And I don't know Moles because they develop differently. Like
Yeah,
OKC really developed them guys into that whole team plays
and it's
aggressive.
systematic too. You got to
Yeah, we
understand,
still have
like,
Willie. We still
yeah,
have
these
Willie. You're right.
organizations,
They do
man,
got
they
they got the coach
operate
of the year over
differently
there now.
than the
Yeah, we still
Pelicans.
got Willie, man. Willie
What's that?
dumbass.
What's that
Yeah,
like?
nah, just the systems, and the way that you come in really does matter. And then like you said, just developing players. Like the Pelicans don't really have a stronghold in those areas. Like, I don't know. It's just kind of weird. It seems like other organizations have more structure, more stability,
But
and they just have it together.
but
It's like the Pelicans are still trying to find a system that works. Henceforth, the Pelicans got a physical therapist, you know, for the first season, right?
Yeah, this last season, yes.
Yeah.
Man,
I
all
mean,
I
they
know,
didn't have one before,
And they
you
which
were
is
don't play those guys. You can't develop people if you don't play them. Willie won't play the guy.
that's true too. Because I think Jay Hawk, he would have been
Further along.
perfect. Yeah, way further along if he kept giving him minutes and things, just keep him in the game. Don't give the man DMPs. Like, you got to play him, build confidence, and allow him to earn your trust if that's what it's about. And his defense did change. You can go back and look at the film, and he was actually like exerting a lot of effort on the defensive end. And I
Man,
will say, I kind of feel like he wasn't in a bad place, because if you got CJ out there and he's a liability on defense, hey man, Hawk, he's younger, he got more hops, better lateral movement. Come on, man.
that's just Willie Green's excuse for
Yeah, I
wanting to play
know.
Najee
I know
Marshall
that
and
really
the
was
other guy.
horrible. I think I don't know what the excuse. And then look, he played 4 minutes against OKC, right?
Mhm.
Y'all know that was his birthday. He the only reason why he said he was gonna play him because it was birthday. Yeah, that's your birthday gift. Which was like, that's sad. It's like, dog, this man is not a kid. I mean, we in the playoffs right now. We don't need you to put him in the game for 4 minutes, which is not enough time to get into a rhythm, just because it's his birthday.
Hey,
Man, come on, man.
Lexxah, you think David Griffin go back home at night and listen to those interviews he give me, just laugh?
Why would he? Why would he do that when he's saying the same thing over and over again?
That's what I'm saying. You don't think he just laughed and said these people so dumb?
I've been calling that man out for a while
I
now.
know. You're right.
I've been putting them on Front Street. I've been telling people the best way I can about Mickey Loomis and David Griffin. I then characterized him into the octopus, put his face on top of a Marvel movie villain with the type of nonsense he do. I popularized that. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, I seen right through the smoke and mirrors, man, because New Orleans, this area and the city is a blue collar city. We a tough city, we're a strong city. Right. The team doesn't mirror it. It's a team full of nice people, nice guys, and all this.
And
when you think about it, Big Q, any team that goes against the identity of their city, they don't ever win, man, until they match the energy of that city.
But you know what, DC, that's a great point. And that speaks to the fact that the Pelicans lost the magic in terms of they lost to the Magic and lost the magic, the mojo that they had in terms of what they were doing in the Smoothie King Center. For whatever reason, they could not harness the energy in the family members.
They lost a whole lot.
It was foreign energy to them. Q, they was trying to be nice. The people was in there being mean, bro. Ready to fight, throw some beers and shit.
I think the city needs to get rid of the Big Easy. That ain't.
But it's the Big Easy after you work your ass off. That's what it's about. Like we know how to eat, but we'll work our asses off and put in some work, and then after we finish working, we work hard and we play hard. That's what the Big Easy represent. And when you come down here, you come and chill with us after we put that work in. So we got all the restaurants, we got the kick it spots or whatever we got. But you're right, DC. Absolutely. This team has not mirrored that mentality. They don't have the toughness and the grit that the city have. Man, we've been smacked in the face with all these goddamn hurricanes. Still come back.
The heart, the effort,
the stuff, man.
The energy.
Man, the number one tourist attraction smell like piss, man. Come on. We gotta be shit. Come on, man. So man, shit. Come on.
Shout out to Brother Aramis, man, for the super chat. Says, "What's happening, family?" Thank you, Brother Aramis, for the.
What up, Aramis?
Appreciate you being up in here, man.
Tell them we're doing therapy in here right now on each other. That's what's going on right now.
let's continue. This is good talking. So we talked about the obviously Jordan Hawkins should have been playing more. I don't know what we could tell Willie Green, because we mentioned that James Borrego is a potential. He's being looked at by the Lakers. And
man, I'm gonna be sick about that if that happens, man.
He was a big, really positive.
They might get more JJ Redick, Lex. That seemed like something they'll do.
I don't think they that
Yeah.
stupid for DC to go JJ Reddick, who been
You
BS.
don't think they that stupid?
I don't think that that's well, Palenka. Actually, he is a
Darvin Ham? Wait, they got rid of what was it? Frank Vogel for Darvin Ham? You don't think they're that stupid?
The
well.
Lakers are thinking about drafting Bronny. Okay.
You don't think they're that stupid?
No. I,
Yes, they are.
one thing I give Palenka.
LeBron and held them people hostage over there.
Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
LeBron's the only thing that's winning for the Lakers right now. Because apparently, they're just not getting over the hump. Even when LeBron and AD have great games, they're still not able to win games. Now, obviously against the Pelicans, they're able to, but against other teams, they just I don't know what it is. I mean, you think they have good pieces, when you look at the roster because it looks good on paper, but they just
only good against the Pelicans.
But I'm saying the Borrego chip
like
though.
a whole bunch of people are.
I'm saying the Borrego chip could be problematic because Borrego is respected around the league. He's respected. So it would be a good solid signing for them. It wouldn't cost him a lot of money to sign James Borrego. He wouldn't be very expensive, and he'll take what the Lakers have and he can make it work. But that's the thing about the Pelicans, man. Is what I'm saying with David Griffin, with the dumb shit that he's doing. You don't if Willie's on the last year of his contract, you let Willie coach it up.
But you got an extension.
But that's the nonsense that I'm talking about. This is the type of foolishness that we have to endure. Just no coach, no general manager.
Let me ask you something real quick.
It's worth his salt would have done a secret extension last year before the season was done to see what you was going see what this current coach staff could do with these players. That was a wait and see approach. Why would you jump the gun, jump the line, and do something stupid like that? This guy is like I told you, the IQ of this guy in terms of in terms about team building and all this. This is absolute smoke and mirrors and nonsense, man. No general manager that's intelligent would have jumped the gun and signed Willie before this season was ended just to see what he would have done and just to see what the landscape was like for coaches that's out there. Because if he had not signed him, we could have been looking at a chance to get a Coach Bud. He could have been a guy that we could have reached to and grabbed at. That to me, that's why I'm challenging the IQ on David Griffin, on what he's doing. What we building, we went from this amount of wins to this amount of wins. That shows progress.
Man, that don't mean nothing.
He's showing
that's fluffery right there.
It is because you got a whole new collection of players. You got one guy, one of your top guys, but you're not gonna pay him that kind of money. You got a first round draft pick behind him has more potential than he has. And then you still have things that you got to do. You got a coach that don't even play the players on this team that can help them win. I think it's a disconnect between the coach and the administrators of what kind of players they need to get to help him out. Like it's just I don't know. It's just this guy is overblown, man. He's overblown. He's a blowhard about his resume. He got a championship ring with Cleveland. That's LeBron. LeBron did that. That's an asterisk to me. What have you done outside of that? He ain't done anything outside of that. So it's another bullshit operation, secret extensions and garbage. So in the end, I don't like it, man. I don't like what's going on with this team. But like I said, moving forward, Willie Green's not going nowhere, obviously, with the secret extension. Neither is David Griffin. So if you get stuck with this collection, go ahead. What you want to say something?
What do you all feel like, just I guess right now what the goal is? I mean, obviously we have Willie. Do you believe that in their minds their goal is to win now? Or to win, or like what I guess the expectation
is to get to the
job and keep getting paychecks. Is that what they want to do?
Well, the only way you get to keep your job is you got to make it to the playoffs. Now that's the standard. The standard is you got to get to the playoffs. Now whether or not
who's gonna fire David Griffin?
But see, the thing is, I mean, if that's it, then it's like, man, because they got to the playoffs and that was it.
What's got to happen?
Because they didn't win not one game.
People got to stop going to the Smoothie King Center, man. People got to stop going to the Superdome.
Y'all stop going to the games, okay?
That's the only thing
And
that's going to stop.
don't watch them on television.
That's what you got to do. You got to stop. You got to stop watching them. You got to act like you don't give a damn anymore. And that's the only thing they gonna understand, man. Other than that, things gonna stay the same. And I hate to say it because, man, I watch the Pelicans every night, man. I'm like the damn fool sitting there wishing for something different. It's almost like when you watch Charlie Brown as a kid, and every time you look, you think your boy gonna get a chance to kick that ball, and that girl pull that ball every time. You know what I'm saying? Lucy pulls the ball every time.
Lucy.
When Charlie Brown tried to kick it, that's the way I'm starting to feel, man. I know he's not gonna kick that ball. Yeah, man, I know he's not gonna kick that ball. Shit, here we go. So that's where I'm at, man. I mean, I like the Pelicans, man. I like Zion. We got some good players. I just feel like it's hard to win when you got a guy like Griffin and you got a guy like Willie Green and you got a guy like David Carr and you got a guy like Dennis Allen who's a known loser. Man, those guys are losers. Them guys are losers. Like I always say, man, I know y'all listen to Al Green and Al Green asks, how can a loser ever win? And that's what we sitting here, man, with with losers, man. And losers don't win. That's why they losers.
Definitely the structure's a losing mentality, and it just really stinks and that's what I was saying on the other day. Like, just winning needs to be the foundation. It doesn't need to be anything else. The family, the culture, man, bump all that. If the winning is there, everything else is gonna come with it.
Winning take care of everything.
Yeah, it does. It's like, winning. If you win it, everybody loves each other for the most part because everybody love winning.
We want quality people.
And then culture. I mean, the goal is to win. If you're winning, then that is the culture. Look, everybody's like, hey man, let's go in here, let's work hard, put our best effort out on the floor and get after it.
Well, I'm gonna ask you guys.
That's not the focus.
I'm gonna ask you guys, do any of y'all hang out with any Pelican players?
No.
Shoot, I need to.
So I'm just saying, who cares about culture and all this other stuff, man? Yeah. I only know those guys for 2 hours on a night they're playing basketball and I'm watching. Man, when I go home, you think I'm worried about what them guys doing and the culture and man, if you win, that's all I care about. I'm like Al Davis, just win, baby. Just win, baby. And we'll be okay. But bro, it just does not seem like they care about winning that much because you wouldn't allow people to be mediocre for so long and just it's always after the fact. It's 3 or 4 years too long. Yeah. Every time, man.
Late.
It's
reactive instead of proactive.
Exactly. I mean, I wouldn't mind working for them guys, man. You got a long time before you got to figure something out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You got job security.
Yes. Production. Who gives a damn
in that
about
case,
production?
hire me too.
Yeah. Who cares about production? What does David Griffin do all day long? Think about that. What he does all day long? Nothing, most probably.
Yeah, probably.
Nothing all day long. He goes into the office, have a few bullshit ass meetings and stuff. And then
small talk.
Game lit on that night and watch a basketball game. You know what I'm saying? Now we know that's the business of the thing, right? But we don't care about the business of football or basketball. We don't care about that as fans. We don't care how you run. You think I care how much money the Miss Benson make or Gail Benson make or whether they're not there in a luxury tax or not? I don't care. That ain't my money. You know what I'm saying? As far as I'm concerned,
sorta.
As far as I'm concerned, she can go way into the luxury tax. I don't care. That ain't my money. You know what I'm saying? Just figure out a way to win, and then I'll be okay. Because for the longest, the narrative was since ESPN's been in place, they try to push all the superstars to the big market, right? Because that's what helped their ratings. But with Minnesota and OKC coming about, and they're starting to win games, and guys are not necessarily feeling like, man, I got to go to the big market because I can do everything I need to do here. I'm gonna get the same commercials. I'm gonna get the same whatever if I just go out and win. If you win, Ant-Man is in Minnesota, man. They're talking about him being the face of the league in Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? So, man, get out and produce. Get you a winner. You know, if you get a winner, you'll get following. Bro, you know, I sat in the barbershop sometime, and you know, you got those Cowboy fans in there. I said, don't you know you got at least 2 generations of kids, or maybe 1 generation of kids who all they know the Cowboys as losers? They grew up with the Cowboys being losers, right? So they think oh, the Saints was good, or whoever's winning now, or New England was winning, right? Those in their lifetime, those are the teams that they think about as winners, right? Man, you got to argue with those guys in the barbershop all the time, and then you ask a couple of young kids that's 25, oh yeah, man, the Cowboys been losing since I've been living. That's so, man, go out, try to win, man. Get your structure. Look, if I'm the owner, I'm straight up telling the guy, man, I'm giving you a 3-year contract, bro. If I don't see progress, your ass is out of here. Now, ain't but a handful of these jobs. Ain't but 32 of them jobs.
Now, I think Griffin, and that's we delve into the mindset of a David Griffin over this team. He's been here for, y'all correct me if I'm wrong in the chat and on the panel. 5 years he's been here. He's been through 3 coaches in 5 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
But when he was hired, I remember the interview when he was hired, he talked about what he wanted to do and how he was going to get the team. He's 5 years into this plan. Now, he's such a propagandist that he's going to talk about the fact that the Pelicans were in the playoffs and that every year they had incremental wins. They went from where they was to last year's mark, and then this year they tied for second in franchise history with the most wins. He knows how to take statistics and spin them where people that's not paying attention to him will buy into and say, yeah. Now he's stats
making progress.
Right. He's stat proud.
It's not progress. It looks like it's progress, but it's not. And see, that's the thing. That's the trick. Because if you want to look at everything, it's like this team has been basically a borderline playing team, or a first round exit.
And then he talk about 49 wins. He got all of them. Said, yeah, because we won 49 wins. If we were in the East, we'd have been in 3rd place. We ain't in the goddamn East.
We ain't in the East.
Which is
it's in the West. It's like the thing is, like, you need to be compared in the West, because last season they would have been 3rd in the West with this record. But the thing is, the West is improving.
Look, think about
this.
The
West is getting better. These teams are getting better.
They won 49 games. They lost to the Jazz twice. They lost to Memphis twice. You know what I'm saying? They lost to Orlando twice. They had a bunch of leads by 20 points that they gave up. You know what I'm saying?
So, 0-27 in the clutch.
Yeah, so you're talking about 49 games. You should have won 62 games. What the hell are you talking about? Man, nobody
it's like you're looking at this all wrong. And I think the thing is the success of the season is really about your perspective on everything. You know, it's like, look, if you're looking at regular season, and that's what you look at as success. Well, the win percentage has gone up every single year, and that's great for you. I mean, well, I guess it's a successful season. But if it's like, okay, hey, let's get to the playoffs. Let's do well, like win some games in the first round at least, or make it out of the first round. You know what I'm saying? Or get to the second round. However you want to look at it. I feel like success is more so based on the playoffs. That's just me. But I mean, to get swept, I mean, they literally just made it to the playoffs and that was it. These dudes did not show up.
No,
they did not show up.
Yeah, Antonio Daniels actually, agreed with that point. Lex, you just said he talked about how the Pelicans the success is not measured in regular seasons wins. It's in playoff what you did in the playoffs. That's what people care.
That's where you know
what we need to do. We need to pull the Lakers, man, when they pull Pat Riley out of the TV booth and made him the head coach. That's what the hell we need to do. Put Daniels on our bench, man. Let him be the head coach. Get his ass up out of there.
They wouldn't do that because, see, that's what the Pelicans, if they would have done the thing that they were supposed to do, Griffin would have done what he was supposed to do and allow the season to play out so he can evaluate the team and the staff with Willie on 1 year. Let him coach with some pressure on him. Let him coach with pressure on him and see what happens at the end of the year. And if, depending on who's out there, you can make a run for for him. Now, I really do think that Coach Bud would have been a guy that would have definitely been. We could have let Willie walk. We wouldn't have missed anything with him. And you need a respectable coach with a resume and an identity. And I can imagine a guy like Coach Bud using the Pelicans players and putting the system in place and doing things. They could have took it to the next level. That's the problem here with the Pelicans. A lot of times they do the cheap man route, and they do the cheap man route. They fired Elvin Gentry. They gave him that money. They fired Elvin Gentry. Then they hired Stan Van Gundy. Then they fired Stan Van Gundy. Then they hired Willie Green. And then Willie Green had to accept the job with people that he, half his staff, more than half, I want to say, of his staff.
He was the fourth, fifth option, wasn't he?
He was like the second. Yeah, they
Jacques Vaughn was the first option, right?
Jacques Vaughn was the guy, and Jacques Vaughn said no because he wanted his own staff, and he had a bunch of people that he hadn't worked with before that they were saying, "Hey, you can have the job, but we keeping these 3 or 4 coaches." He's like, "Nah, because if I fail, I want to fail with my guys and not somebody you giving me."
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
They interviewed.
They were delayed on that too.
Man, they interviewed Jamal.
Man, this is just, it's too much delayed reactions, man. Like, what are y'all doing? It's like hurry up and wait.
And it's hard
hurry up
think
and
about
wait.
It's hard for a guy to be a head coach the first time and be successful. Most of those teams, if you go back and you look at the Chicago Bulls, man, Doug Collins was the coach. He took them so far, and all of a sudden, abruptly, they fired him and hired Phil Jackson, and everybody was like, "What are y'all doing?" Phil Jackson took him to championships, man. Pat Riley took over for Paul Westhead. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes, man, you gotta move on from a guy because he's taking your team as far as he could take it. And to me, that's what Willie has done, man.
But they don't realize that though.
They're not.
Giving secret contracts and
because there's no pressure. The Pelicans are a.
They ain't trying to win, man. They ain't trying to win.
They are
not trying to win.
They're a comfortable team with an owner that's not looking over their shoulders.
Exactly.
They wasting careers too.
Yeah, they wasting time.
Zion's gonna want to be out here in a couple of years. Zion's gonna be ready to leave in 2 years.
Well, he'd be well within his rights.
Yeah.
Really, the situation he came in was all the way bad. Like I don't feel like the organization was ready for him. They really weren't.
Griffin's just so slimy, man. I just don't like that dude, bro. Not from the first time, bro. When I used to hear him on when he used to work on the NBA channel when he wasn't working with Cleveland anymore, bro. And he just was such a slimy dude to me, man. You just gotta find a better guy that's more, open with you, transparent with you, not trying to play word games with you, like he's so smart and he's so calm and you're so stupid. Listen to all this crazy ass shit he's talking about.
Yeah, it was and see, that's the headbutting thing. That's why I know that he's not a very good general manager, because no general manager worth his salt would have kept Elvin Gentry when he became the general manager. He should have automatically brought in his other guy. Then I knew he was not a really good general manager when he finally fired Elvin Gentry, because they were head bumping. Elvin Gentry was talking about how he was manipulating his uses of Zion Williamson and all this kind of stuff. He got tired of that. He was trying to win games, and David Griffin's telling him when he, this, that, and the third, manipulating what was going on with Zion's, whether he plays here or there, and all these minute restrictions, all this kind of stuff was operated by him. He was doing all of that. And then he finally gets Elvin Gentry out of there. He hires Stan, a guy he hadn't coached in years. His last job was talking about the game for NBA.com or NBA television. And then prior to that, he was a general manager, a failed one with Detroit. And then the man hadn't coached for years, and he had the brilliant idea to hire this fucking guy as a head coach of the team. How many examples do we have to keep giving about how David Griffin is not who he says? He's a bullshit artist. That's what he's a propagandist.
He's a bumbling fool is what he is.
He's not no general manager would have kept Elvin Gentry after watching Elvin. All you have to do is your research on Elvin Gentry. I was saying I was been saying, man, we need to get this guy out of here, because this guy only knows about offense. He don't care about no defense. He's an older guy. It's just a bunch of stuff. Elvin Gentry was entertaining, but we knew he was never going to take you anywhere. And these people perpetually are time wasting trolls. That's what they do. They just waste time. Griffin is a BS artist. He is not. He wasn't intelligent with the Elvin Gentry. Should have fired him after that when he came in. He should have fired him and found a coach.
Hey, Q.
He finally back on it. And in the third year, guess what? He was still playing Gentry and Van Gundy. I'm not done yet, brother Moles. Check this out. He was still paying Elvin Gentry's contract, still paying for Stan Van Gundy's contract, and he had to take a cheap, inexperienced coach to fill a position. Jock Vaughn wouldn't take it because they didn't want to fire the coaches because they would have owed them money. So he had to try to give them the job with coaches already on his staff.
See, they just being cheap, man. It's like, that's not winning habits.
Well, hold on, Lex. Check this out. They also interviewed Jamal Mosley for the damn job.
Yeah, look at what he's doing with Orlando.
See, so the whole thing is what I'm saying is I'm just laying out the vision of who this guy said he is. I told you this guy's a BS guy. A real general manager that's an intelligent, visionary general manager wouldn't have made these series of stupid mistakes. And another compounded stupid mistake. That's the drafting of Kyra Lewis
organization too. Because I guess that's due to that delayed mentality because he's trying to cover his mistakes. That's the same thing when he brought in Bledsoe and Steven Adams. It's like that.
Trade him after 1 year.
Well, with Kyra Lewis being down at Alabama, man, I saw him play a bunch, and I couldn't figure that out. I just couldn't figure it out. But there's also did you hear what Chris Finch said about Nikhil Walker when both of them was in New Orleans? He said that he didn't know what his role. One day they wanted him to be this, the next day they wanted him to be that. Now look what he's doing over there for the Timberwolves.
Look what Chris Finch is doing for the Timberwolves.
Yeah, look what Finch is doing. Yeah,
shoot, NAW, he's doing well.
Yeah.
Josh Hart, look at what he's doing. Man, it's like he got around more dogs, just like him.
That's what I'm saying. How many more examples we got to present to this
Drew, he's in a good situation.
Weird secrets contracts assigning Willie Green behind no credible general manager worth his salt that has vision. That's a top 10 general manager in this here NBA would have done something. These series of stupid back ass mistakes that's really harming,
covering up his tracks and being cheap about it. Those aren't, and henceforth that's why there's such a delay. Like the organization is being reactive. I mean, you can't get ahead if you keep making mistakes and then keep trying to cover up those mistakes. And then when you cover up those mistakes, you're being cheap about it.
That's how they got to operate because they make expensive mistakes. These are expensive mistakes, Lex, because the Elvin Gentry stuff, Elvin, like I said, we've been doing it for a while. Gentry shouldn't have been there. When they hired David Griffin to come in, he should have fired Elvin Gentry off the bat. Should have got rid of him. And then he could have done a really good job because when he came in, he wanted to hire Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers didn't want to come down here. He didn't want to work because
that ain't no better either.
But see, the Pelicans, that's still better. I don't know, but the Pelicans resume, they name presents them. It steps out when they know, like when Dale Demps was here, it was a joke franchise. Dale Demps was, he didn't know what he was doing.
Shit, David Griffin he ain't doing no better.
Yeah.
He is.
I mean, this is just a bad situation, y'all. I mean, the SKC, needs to improvements. The facilities, it's a lot of stuff. It's not, man. This is just crazy, man. I mean, how you gonna put yourself in this type of situation?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying about the facilities, but the Kansas City Chiefs was voted with the worst facilities in the NFL.
Still won championships. It's about
but I'm just saying, like, it's just everything. Poor management, the foundation is wrong, the hierarchy, the ownership, everything, the delegation, because Octopus has his hands in everything.
Everything. You got to have a vision.
It's like there's no delegation.
Brother Aramis says, hold just a second, brother Mose. Brother Aramis says, if we got Bud, we would have had a coach who knew how to utilize, and Middleton without them clashing and being my turn, your turn would have been great for BI and Z. So I mean, but the thing is, it takes vision, and David,
Willie
like I
don't
said,
like that.
another screwed up thing about David Griffin. To keep throwing them, man. There's a ton of them I could just keep throwing up here. That man, there's so many really bad things that David Griffin is a part of.
Yeah, it is. It's basically just cover up your
What-
mistakes, and
What's
it's putting the organization in a bind.
But what's the vision of the team? What is he trying to do? Because he talks see, and this is another thing when you got a BS artist on your hand. He speaks in generalities and never in specifics. He don't give you exact details of what he's doing. If you hear press conferences from David Griffin, it's always generalities. He uses the same buzzwords over and over again, like he's a machine, he's programmed, like he's reading from a script. He uses the same key buzzwords over and over again, over and over again, over and over and over and over again. That's why I was saying, fam, when we can't buy into none of this stuff. Well, seriously, for real, because there's no vision here. There's no vision for these players. You got Zion Williamson here.
Trying
The
to sell
Pelicans,
that culture and family and good human
Well, all I
beings,
can
and
tell
it's
you,
like
all I
ain't
can
nobody
tell
trying
you,
to hear all that, man.
Q, all I
Nobody's
can
trying to
tell you,
hear that.
bro, all you podcasters who got Pelican shows, y'all got to get after his ass, bro, because the local media won't. They just won't, man. Fletcher Mackel and all those guys, man.
they on the payroll.
Yeah,
Dude.
man, those guys, man. Come on, bro. How could you sit here with this amount of ineptitude from ownership and no one says anything about it because the woman is sacred? Bro, I ain't got nothing against that lady, man. She's a nice lady, but she's a horrible owner, man. It is what it is. You can say what you want. This is her watch. This is
That's
on her watch that
but
this
that's
foolishness is going on.
But see, that's the big part of being what we do and who we are, because
Trusting the wrong people.
it's got to be a line in between who because they try to muddle the line. I know that a lot. I've been watching that for years, been doing what I'm doing because I'm grassroots. I came up, and used my own
Self-made.
self-made. So I have no ties. That the Pelicans or the Saints or none of these people put money in my pocket to create my own platform.
Exactly.
They create sports websites and all that. I'm grassroots. I came out of the ground. A lot of these
Out
other
of the
people
mud, baby.
out of the mud. A lot of these other people, they're corporate. They get their coins from the corporation, so they wouldn't slap the hand that feeds them. That's why I was saying about the press badges. They get in there for the privilege of talking to the players, but if you piss them off, they pull a badge from you. You can't gain access. They'll take your pass away if you piss them off. They do this, and the reporters know it, and they know that if they lose their press badges, more than likely a lot of the inside stories and access to these players, they wouldn't gain them. So they keep their mouth shut and they play the game. And that's unfortunate, but that's why people like the independents, the strong independents like us, are needed, because we push the line where they won't. And in many cases, because I've done this so many times over the many years that I've been doing this, is that I will talk about a narrative and get it hot in the Who Dat Nation and on the Pale front. And then what happened is you'll get reporters that will then pick up what you're saying, and then they'll write articles based on that. A lot of times your questions will get so strong that it forces the reporters to then ask them in a certain way to the people, just to make you calm down, because people are saying, why aren't you asking them about this? And they'll badger the reporter to ask him the question. He'll ask it in a milquetoast fashion, but still in all, we control the dynamic, not them. That's why I was saying the corporations, it's a weird dynamic. Like they're not the one. You are the one. They work for those people. So, and if they working for them people, they're allies of them people. You doing your thing independently, you don't have no allegiances to them. You as free as you can be to talk about whatever you want to talk about and handle business. And that's how I operate. I operate with that. I tells the truth whether they like it or not. And many people, I know people in there that tell me the same thing. Say, man, Q, they they don't like you saying that shit. Mickey Loomis don't like you impersonating him. He was really insulted about that. About you. That's what I said. Tell him who gives a damn. Get up off his ass and do something about it.
It's like that movie The Firm.
And they cowards. They'll never come and sit down and have a conversation with you about it and straighten it. They never.
Q. But what they got to do, the media, bro, they got to call Gail Benson to the carpet, bro. She's got to come and talk about this, man, because that's where the issue lies. If you look at all the other ownerships in these sports, man, people interview those people, man. People call those people out. They talk to those people. They get statements from these people. Man, when the last time you ever heard her make a statement about any of these teams or anything?
They're not gonna do it because Gail's a sweetheart. She got that image.
Sweetheart, my ass.
They're not. I'm just telling you how they gonna do it. They're not. You get Channel 6 is not gonna do that. They're not. The NOLA.com is not gonna come. They used to be beat writers. Them guys are dead now, but they had guys back in the day that would write.
Buddy Diliberto when you need him, huh?
Buddy Diliberto, Pete Feeney, and all those guys. There's many different people that would lambaste the Pelican. I remember they put Buddy D off the goddamn plane. He had another way home because he was talking the truth. They threw him out of there. So I mean, that's they don't have them. They don't have them. People now.
I would just more so be like, look, Gail, you being hustled right now. Look, try to step away from what looks good on paper and open your eyes and see with your eyes what's really going on. Because, just maybe take for, just for a second, that just maybe you got a whole bunch of people lying to you. You know what I'm saying?
The difference is I remember Buddy D calling people to the carpet. I remember when Buddy D tell a story about when Dick Gordon was the astronaut, was the general manager of the Saints, and he said, "Man, we 3 players away from making the playoffs." And Buddy D said, "What? The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost?"
Oh wow!
3 players away. You know what I'm saying? So that's the kind of stuff he used to do. But now you got people like what's his name, the Cajun Cannon on the radio. Man, those dudes are Saints employees, man. They're not gonna say anything to call the Saints out, man. They're not gonna call Derek Carr out and all these players, and that's a bunch of bullshit right now that's going on down there.
Yeah, and they all and I'm gonna say this and to leave it alone. We're gonna bring DJ and Don in so they can speak it because we about to get ready to close the stream down. But like I said, fam, y'all know we've been doing this for a long time, and my personal experience in with it is that I realized that a lot of people play the game. A lot of people, at certain periods of time when the reports get too hot, you'll start seeing
agenda driven.
Yeah, right, and you'll start seeing articles come out, soft articles on the Pelicans. They don't, or the Saints. They will only talk to their hand-picked reporter puppets when they need interviews or when they want to talk. When Mickey Loomis does his interviews on the radio, he only go to WWL for certain reporters to ask him the questions. They don't go outside of that because they don't want to answer your questions because your questions will put them in a fair light. It's all about them holding position. That's what Mickey Loomis is doing. He doesn't deserve to be the general manager. I'm staying on him until I get him up out of there, off that position. David Griffin's another dude that's slicker than Mickey Loomis. He's very slick, but he's not slick enough, man. That's why I've been getting at him, pinpointing the nonsense that he's been doing, talking about building, having a team full of good people and all that, and then they get mollywopped by the OKC team running their ass up out of here with no heart. And well, that's because we didn't have Zion. Even if you had Zion, you probably
that was a scapegoat. That was a scapegoat, man.
You wasn't gonna beat them people because they was out coaching them. Lex, they even had that they couldn't beat the G League coach Dagno. You couldn't beat him. It's a G League man. They put on
Coach of the Year, NBA Coach of the Year.
He was a G League coach.
Yeah, I know.
Still play.
He was their G League coach, the OKC G League coach, that they made head coach of their professional organization.
Maybe we need to go get our G League coach.
Took them and turned them.
Because he works directly under Willie Green, and we don't want another Willie Green.
Oh no, we don't want no more Willie Green. Bro.
No,
Willie Green got to go, man.
That's David Griffin's handpicked guy. That's David Griffin's handpicked guy. It was Willie Green. You had Jamal Mosley, who kicking the Pelicans between the washing machine and dryer like my dog Loso every time they play him. You got G League man Mark Dagno doing his job, and several others that were there at the time that were better options than Willie Green. Willie Green was the safe option because he was cheap.
Yeah, he was cheap, and he wasn't even. Man, that dude was
you get what you pay for.
You get what you pay for. Man. Right. All right. So let me, DJ. Are you awoke?
Yeah, I'm awoke.
Okay, there you go, brother. All right, you back. All right, I'm gonna turn the floor over to you, man. Feel free to kind of say your thing. We're gonna get ready to close out the stream in about 15 minutes. Y'all brothers kind of getting on the tail end. But bring in brother Don as well. Welcome both. DJ, you got the floor. Then brother Don after you.
All right. First of all, how y'all doing? chat. I'm not gonna speak no more about Willie. It's just no harm to him, but it's just this is not his team. Like it. I mean, we heard sources said that game 2, him and Bi had a argue in the locker room, and I don't. Yeah, we definitely do need to get another coach. The players. Let's get to the players. Um, this round 1 playoffs, because this besides Jonas and Cody Zeller, this team shouldn't have been in the play-in period. Uh, my thing is this: we just gonna jump straight to the offseason.
DJ, you still there? Your sound went out, bro.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you kind of you're static. You sound real kind of staticky, bro. Your sound going in and out like a robot.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Now? All right.
Yes.
So my thing is this: with the players, we already know Cody Zeller is gone, and JV is testing free agencies. So with that being said, what are we doing with Carlo Mekovic? And are we drafting a center? And if so, what pick? Because we do have the Lakers pick and we do have our own. Well, yeah, I think our own, or the Milwaukee Switch pick. The point guard position, I mean, who are we trading? Because it's either got to be Jose or Dice. So, I mean, if you want like a minimum veteran, I mean, you can go get one. That's just my question. And then you still got to know what EJ Liddell could do. I mean, we still got him. C. Ryan. I mean, Matt Ryan. I mean, like, what are we doing with these players? Like, are we signing them? Are we trading them? What? Are we? That's my only question. Because Willie Green with the small ball lineup, it didn't work throughout this whole season. So that's just my opinion. Like,
Well, DJ, on Carlo Makovic, man. To be honest with you, based on, and I don't think Willie Green changes much coming up this upcoming season. I mean, he doesn't trust those young players, so I don't see. Even though Carlo Makovic does have potential, I find it hard to believe that he'll give a guy like Carlo Makovic an opportunity to contribute to what the team got going on. I mean, it just seems like to me, whatever the Pelicans going to do at the center position, they're going to have to find a veteran that fits his scheme, and whether that's a Robert Williams or DC says a Jonathan Isaacs, or a player like that, like probably not even a 7-footer, probably like an undersized guy, 6'9", 6'10" type of player that can play that position. You have to run plays for him. He shot blocks and offensively rebound, stuff like that. He plays defense. They will have to find that player, and he has to be a veteran that he will be able to, that he can deal with. They're gonna have to find that right type player. In terms of those draft picks, bro, it's just like this. The Pelicans hit it right on the head when they got Jordan Hawkins, and as the year whittled down, he got less and less minutes. DMP'd more and more, and they needed his offensive production. But Willie Green could not, and this was for pressure from the family base saying, "What are you doing? Why don't we see more lineups with Trey Murphy and Jordan Hawkins in there? What you doing, man?" And Willie Green couldn't seem to get that shit together. He couldn't seem to get it. So, right. So at the end of the day, it's like, I have a big question mark with some of the young players unless they're defensively inclined and they prove it to them right out the bat that they can play defense. He's real patient on your offensive game being a little off. But in terms of defense, you got to have the fire defense. a Dice, like, hey, Dice got out there. Some of these other guys get out there because they could play defense really well. But if your offense,
CJ.
right? Well, that's the contract thing. You know how that works. Lex, $30+ million a year will force you into playing. But that's my take on it. What you think, Lex?
I mean, all them guys you mentioned, they ain't even in the rotation. So it's like, I mean, Jay Hawk, he's barely in the rotation. And we want to see him play. Like EJ, we don't see him in the game. If he gets in the game, it's garbage minutes. Same thing with Seabrine, if that. Makovich, he's with the G League team. So it's like, I mean, with these guys, I mean, that's really up in the air. Really, I think the more of the focus is, on guys like JV, obviously, BI, CJ, who can we get in here? Get another star next to Zion. Really elevating Trey, putting him in a position to really make room for him to grow and to flourish. Next to Zion, depending on the trade, if the trade is to trade, Brandon, the pieces that we get back, who would be in the starting lineup, if that moves CJ to the bench, like you were talking about, Mose, or is there, a situation where the Pelicans can move CJ? But really, I mean, I think the top heavy and the middle part of this team is where the folks should be. Obviously, Najee, he's probably going to be gone. He can easily go somewhere and make some more money. No, Jose, I think Jose, he'll still be here. Obviously, Herb is under contract. I mean, really, the thing is, we need to, there's a lot of things that have to be answered with this roster. First of all, I mean, we need to know who we keeping and how we can get better. Obviously, we know we need a point guard, and we're looking at Trey Young and DeJounte Murray. Obviously, D Mitch, he'll be available, sorta. But I mean, really, it depends on the direction. And then after the direction, at the end of all of answering those questions, it's gonna come back to the coaching. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, swimming in mud, like as far as with all these different situations, because it always comes back to the coaching and who Willie's gonna play. Because at the end, I mean, that's what it's all about anyway. Putting these guys in the right situation to maximize their talent, to play with each other, and getting maximum effort out of them.
Well, I'm gonna bring him back off the Locked On Pelicans. Jake, he also said you go out there, you find a center out of free agency or trade or a visa trade or whatever, and then you run it back. And then if it don't work, whatever case may be, then change the coaching problem. And then if that don't work, hopefully it would, and then you trade Zion or Bi or CJ or however he said it. But I'm down with him. Like, okay, yeah, go out there, find your big man. My thing is this: go sign Colin Mekovich, draft your center. And run it. And that way, you still have a stretch five with Colin Mekovich. The center that I want is his last name is Ware. I don't know how to say his first name, but his last name is Ware. And you go from there, and you can still run the small ball lineup with either Colin Mekovich and Larry Nance if you want to run small ball lineup. So that's my intake. I mean, you don't have to be in that specific order, but if Willie want to run the small ball lineup, I mean, you wasting a 52 over. I mean, wait, what color Michael was? A 56 overall pick, something in the 50s. You wasting a draft pick. I mean, you wait.
Yeah, he's DJ. He's averaging 17 points and 8 rebounds in the G League. He's still a developmental aspect. It's different players on this team that the Pelicans could bring over, like Landers Nolly, the second's a player that I was looking at. But he tried out early last year. That has some game to him. And they got a couple of players that they'll bring in. They still got Malcolm Hill and all these other guys. But what I'm saying in terms of like what the man was saying about running it back and all that kind of stuff, this team, man, I can't get around the fact that they operating back ass. This is backwards. None of this makes any sense. You don't get a coach the extension until you see what the team is made of. Now you give him an extension. We don't even know how many years it is. He gives an extension. And now the forward is to find Willie Green, the centers, because I'm pretty sure you're going to burn up Larry Nance at the backup center role. I mean, you don't even have to do that.
Don't kill that dude.
Gonna burn him up. And then you got to find somebody to operate at the point guard level. I mean, this point guard by committee approach, they're doing that because they don't have a solid point guard. You need to find somebody, whether that's Dyson Daniels, who's a top 10 pick in the NBA. You got to see what he can do. He's improved. He's a stellar defensive player, and he improved his offensive game. But is there any real dialogue about him actually becoming a full-time starter at the point guard position? I mean, that's also stuff they got to look at. Then they got to get off BI. Eventually, they got to move BI because they're not going to pay him. You got to get off him. So, I mean, at some point, that's what I'm saying. It's a lot of stuff that this team has to be faced with that they got to do. And CJ McCollum is a guy with that eventually you got to get off of CJ McCollum because the big three of Zion, BI, and CJ only work together. If you breaking BI up, there is no reason to keep CJ McCollum on this team. He has to eventually go too. That was the idea. That's what I was saying about when we were having a discussion. Like when he built this team, and he being Langdon with an assist from Griffin with an assist from Trajan Langdon, who's constantly trying to leave, by the way, which is also an indictment of David Griffin, that the man is constantly trying to leave to go and get another job somewhere. But outside of that, you have them putting together the big three. He traded to get CJ McCollum here to put him with BI to have Zion, so they'll form a big three, put the role players around them, and then this team will play for bigger and higher stakes. It didn't materialize. People kept getting hurt. The window has wasted away. We're at the end of this window. So when you look at the overall process of BI, Zion, and CJ, what kind of results are we looking here? It failed. We had the playoff appearance, and you got ran out of there. The team couldn't stay healthy in that current mix. The time is up. So that plan failed. So he has to then recycle a team. So it make no sense to keep CJ McCollum in if you're not going to keep BI, all these guys together. You got to break it up and form another team. You got to put together another group of people that can work with Zion moving forward. That's what I'm saying about the plan. But I remember what this man said. I don't just, take my shit and stick it in there. I remember what Griffin said. I listened to all of his stuff. And that's what his original plan was, to operate through those three as success. That window is over with. He needs to break them apart and put together somebody else. And he has to make a move with the trade for BI. That has to happen this offseason because you're not going to pay him. And once you do that, eventually CJ has to go too. At some point, he has to go too because he's holding back guys on the team. Because there are other guys with big potential on this team as well. And you're not going to keep CJ McCollum on the team as a sixth man at $30+ million. It's not going to work. So, I mean, it's not even common. It don't even make sense to have CJ here if BI is gone. And not saying I want BI to stay, because I think time is up. I think the time is up and they both have to go, because you have to really start building around Zion. And you can't take the draft the young player route, because your time is ticking as well. People ain't going to stand for this much longer, man. They're not going to do it. But DB, thank you for the super chat. Said, what is Gail Benson's health? Remember, she is up in age. Alzheimer's is real. We do not see her walking the sidelines, waving at the audience anymore. I don't have anything on Gail in terms of her health or whatnot. She is definitely up in age, but from what I'm seeing from her, she looks pretty healthy. But I think in terms of her with this team, she don't know basketball like she could. That's something she inherited. She took over his stuff, and she's using Tom Benson's philosophies and his thought process on these teams, and I think that's wrong. She needs to have her own concepts. She need to have her own vision for this team and what happens. And if she wants championships, she start talking about we want Super Bowls and championships, and she actually start talking like that, even though she might not know the intricacies of how to get it. And she starts talking like that, people, the right people will come to get her that, not bullshit BS artists and employees who think they're owners like Mickey Loomis and flim flam men with like David Griffin, the octopus, running around here making these silly ass decisions on coaches. I mean, this is ridiculous. But anyway, Lex, you want to chime in? I got after you chime in, I got Brother Don who got a word or two to say as well.
No,
so,
you can go on to Don.
Thank you, DB. Appreciate you, Brother Don. Are you there, sir?
Unmute your mic,
Brother Don. His mic's it's not muted. I think he having problems. Yeah, he having problems clicking in. Yeah, his stuff been going in and out. I think he having connection issues. Yeah, try to click back in, Brother Don. I think he having connection issues. Yeah, there you go. You'll pop back in.
So all right. So as far as coaching, like what the coach that's liable for this team out there?
I mean, they got to commit to him, Lex. And we talked about this. We talk about this all the time. And she doesn't like the fact that, you know, what's going on with the team. And
well, I thought it was all of us. I mean, can we all agree that Willie's not a good coach?
Right. I agree with you on that. And I'm just saying, because you really do spearhead it. You know, you really kind of dial into him. Because I take more of the David Griffin approach. You kind of pinpoint Willie Green, you know, a little more than I do. But I agree. I think a lot of the stuff that's going on with Willie Green, like the team is crazy because it's not an accurate vision here. Because if it was, then there should have been something done about Valanciunas early on in the year before the year started. If you realized that this wasn't the guy for you, he didn't just get here. I mean, we should have done something. We could have done something to been a little extra. They had all kind of time in the world. You couldn't find a trade partner. You had to wait all the way to the right at the trade deadline before stuff. People were getting traded all throughout the year. You couldn't find something that could work for you, even after you give up a pick or two or try to find something. But the usage of Valanciunas was ridiculous. The usage of Jordan Hawkins as a shooter, that was ridiculous. His spotty minutes, and that guy was lighting it up for you. Like Lex said, that was a great point. Like he was lighting it up for you. He was on pace to really do something special, and then Willie just shuts him down. Then talking about they need more offense, and you got shooters on the damn bench. It's not like the same. Yes, he had shooters on. You get Matt Ryan here, who was lighting it up, and then Matt Ryan doesn't play.
They just gave him a contract,
and then he did
a 3-year contract.
Gave him a contract, and he didn't play.
Contracts and not even playing them.
Don't even play. It makes sense if you're the Pelicans, and if you're David Griffin or Trajan Langdon, you should be on Willie Green saying, "Hey, bro. Listen, we're not going to pay these people if you're not going to play them. You got to figure out a rotation where you get these players in here. Why are we putting together a deep bench and you're not even using these players when you need them? These guys are shooters. All these years we talk about the Pelicans need more shooters, and you finally get them and you elect not to use them. He was DMPing these guys. So I don't know. I like I said, I'm very conflicted in terms of what Willie Green sees what success is, where he wants to switch everything and play defense. He doesn't have an alternative strategy. When things start breaking down on that end, he wants to just double down and do the same shit that's not working. That's unintelligent, man. And that's why I was like, the mentality of this team, all this needs to be checked. And my dog says the double down with Zion would be ridiculous. I mean, bro, if you don't have him, you don't have nothing. That's the honest truth. If you remove Zion Williams, you have nothing. And I no disrespect to Jordan and the rest of the players and Dyson and all these people, but Zion Williams is a force. And if you don't use him correctly and you don't give him the proper people around him, like if you guys that can shoot around him when he has the ball, or a point guard that can set the table when he's too tired to operate, you don't have to have him running the goddamn point most of the game. You got to have an actual point guard that can run and distribute the ball to these people, man, that can break down the defense, that can get there. I mean, you got to have that, man. The Pelicans think they can go around it with point guard by committee approach. It's laughable, man. It's laughable to me. I like Zion at the point, but damn, that's not the only damn thing we can do. Can't we can do some other shit, right? We could take advantage of it's just ridiculous. Don, are you there, bro? Don, are you there? The brother trying, man. It's something going on with his phone, man. He trying to get in there, but it's the phone keep on messing up.
Tell him turn off his Wi-Fi. Sometimes that do help.
Okay, I'll let him know when he pops back in. Yeah, but so I mean that's my take on it, DJ. I know Lex, we talk about this all the time, but I don't know what's the vision for this team, man. All I can know is that what Griffin said about Zion, CJ, and BI, that's no longer valid if you're talking about getting rid of them. They done reached the point in their contract where you have to decide whether to keep them or not. And it's obvious to us that BI is going to be traded at some point, whether it's during the offseason or when the game start. At some point, he has to be gone because you're not going to pay him. We couldn't trade Val, so we just gonna take his whatever we got into the offseason. Remember, the Pelicans ain't working with a lot of money, so whatever they're gonna do, it has to be cost effective, which is another impediment because all of the stupid shit that they done did. So I mean, I don't know what kind of web of lies that David Griffin is spinning. Like, oh, we won 49 games. We don't care. We don't care about that. Remember how the Pelicans collapsed on the back end of the season? Like they were losing all these games. They couldn't beat the Lakers in the play, and they lost to them in the regular season. They had an opportunity to play them in the play and lost to them there.
Well,
couldn't win at home. They won one game at home against a team that they dominated all season long. We drew that team. They when they got into the play, they lost on the road, which they were supposed to be dominant, the best road team in the NBA, and they lost. They lost on the road. And then they couldn't win at home. They fell apart, man. They fell apart. So what's the answer for that? If you, like I said, I don't know what Griffin's trying to do. He gonna say some bullshit about sustainability and generalities that really don't give us no insight on anything, to be honest with you. So I don't know what he's gonna do, fam.
The Lakers game to play in. The regular season. I fought Willard and David Griffin because when BI was out and Trey was in the starting lineup, everybody was kind of sort of doing their part. And Lex, shout out to her. We all said it in the last call-in show that they're gonna start BI since BI coming back. No, it didn't work like that. You should have started Trey Murphy and have BI come in because he just came off an injury. Let Trey Murphy start and let BI come off the bench. To get the second unit going, and let BI run with the second unit. But as all knows, the BI starting it threw everything off, and he wound up scoring what 9, if not 9 points that game. So it was like, well, okay. So I'm following David Griffin and Willie Green, or whoever made that option to make that change. So, if anything, we got to change the front office first. Once we change the front office first, uh, change the center position. I have Jonas as a backup center or something like that. I don't know, but at the same point in time, we didn't use the player that's on our roster. Damn now, like I ain't trying to be no big head of the off players that we have, but we play Magic like back the Ben Carroll guy. Put EJ Liddell out there. Let somebody slow him down. Like Willie Green has to find they gotta find something because this roster is like somewhat mid tier talent. It's just not working. I mean, you got J Hawk, Matt Ryan, uh, Jerry Robinson era. I don't know if they're gonna keep him or not. It's just like, what are we doing? They got to keep it going. We got to change the front office first. Get all your coaches lined up get it's yeah. I hope we have a better offseason than for the past couple of years. I mean, I don't care if you gotta go get college coaches. I mean, shit, they'll at least they'll play everybody on the daggone bench. Like we gotta start with the 9-man, 8-man rotation. You're burning Larry out. Larry's damn near what, 30, 32, 33 years old. He not gonna be down up doing the dirty work down there all his life. No, Larry gotta play his position too. So that means you gotta go find a backup center. Once you find your starting center, you gotta go find your backup center and let Larry play either the 4 or the 3. Them 30-year-olds. I mean, CJ, yeah, he know how to ball handle. Yeah, yeah. Okay, we get that. We automatically get it. But other than that, the 30-year-olds. I mean, hell, I'm 30, and I ain't about to do the same shit that CJ and everybody else doing that's 30 in the league right now. So we gotta get together, and we as fans is not happy with the organization at all. They gotta change. And I mean, and I hope we don't. I hope we don't take that long because Zion, hopefully down the line, he gonna ask for a trade. Then we gonna be in big trouble. So that's it, bro. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, yeah. EJ Liddell, he wasn't ready. Now, will he be next year? I mean, we'll see how far he got along because there was a lot of expectation about him, and it just didn't work this year. Like I said about the Lex, I want you to chime in. I just think that like when we designed Williamson thing, like he got the big contract, so he's making $30 million. That contract kicking in. They got to do it. There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like you're on, it's his show. I mean, BI was the top option for a long time because Zion was hurt. Many of them games, BI was the guy, and he did what he could do with the Pelicans being here. They brought CJ McCollum in with him, and we seen a little success, but that core couldn't stay healthy enough to help each other win. We had Valanciunas who played all 82 games. He was there. A lot of the failure, like I said early in the show, family, a lot of the failure that the Pelicans experience is self-inflicted. This is self-inflicted. You can start at general manager, at the VP level, and then you go on down to the coach where the coach is not utilizing these people the correct way. And that's the truth. Obviously, to me, he don't know his personnel. Like, and DJ, he does have a backup center. His name is Larry Nance. That is his backup center. He's not going to play him at the 4. He's going to play him at the 5 because he sees him as a perfect center prospect for what he wants to do. And that's the stubborn thing that's the part of the game I really despise about Willie Green is the fact that he's so stubborn that he won't adjust, and that will limit your success. You can't have that type of mentality. And like I said, these young players, man, unless you can really show him defensively, which is sad, because we got young players, offensively speaking, like Jordan Hawkins, that could have really helped the Pelicans out when they were suffering to score some of these points and they couldn't do it. So like I said, a lot of this stuff was definitely self-inflicted, but you never going to get the real from David Griffin. He's too busy trying to cover his own ass. It's a cover your ass type of person here, man. He'll fire a guy trying to jump off the boat anyway. Change the lane, and every job pop up, change the lane to trying to go and fill it. And these ain't even quality organizations he's trying to go to. I mean, he was trying to get the GM job for the Washington stinking Wizards for goodness sake. He hadn't been relevant in years, but he was trying to go there to get away from the Pelicans. Every job pops up, he's trying to get out of here. So, and he understands what's going on. He can never get no credit with Griffin there. He can never get no credit for anything doing. And we talking about the Pelicans. We're supposed to be talking about the damn general manager. The general manager is him. We looking right at the VP because we know who pulling the strings. So, like I said, man, the Valanciunas, we had credit. We had talented people on this goddamn team. And they weren't used properly. not in a way where we could have sustained all his favorite way. Ray had a sustainable success that followed from the regular season into the playoffs. So I'm not going to let them tell me about 49 wins and then you get your ass kicked in the playoffs, swept up out of there, man. That the hell with your 49 wins. Go ahead, Lex. I'm sorry. You got the final word.
No, I mean, really, all in all, with everything that's been said, it's time for action. It's time for some type of action. You know, I've said this before. I think, we've seen what this core can do, whether it's Zion, whether it's Brandon, whether it's CJ. I just don't want to see the same core. Okay. Really, I think all three can be better in better situations, whatever the direction is, because I feel like the organization has basically failed all three of them. And mainly, I feel like they failed Zion and Brandon. Which, so I mean, there's a lot of directions that you can go into with this because, I mean, really at this point, it's like we've seen enough. We've seen enough. The data has been collected. Yeah, you can say it's a coaching issue, but then I think it's a systematic. It's systematic with how this organization is ran, how everything's put together, how things are delayed. And at this point, it's like, what do you do to get back on track? When you look at the Pelicans, they had the same timeline as OKC. They started the rebuild the same time. And you can actually throw the T-Wolves in there as well. And, well, you look up, look where the Thunder are. Look where the T-Wolves are. And it's like, what's the excuse? I mean, like, because I was thinking, like, and you have to think, the Thunder, they weren't even, they didn't even make the playoffs last year. This was just last season. And this season, they were number 1 seed. I mean, talk about that jump right there. Like going from, okay, yeah, we know what we need to do. Hey, next year comes, like, we're relevant. We're serious. We're legit. It's like, that's the part that we wanted to see from the Pelicans. But, that hurry up and wait mentality, just being delayed on, making moves, being reactive and not proactive, it's killing. And then, like we said, Big Q, just the mistakes that Griff's made over the years, covering up those mistakes. You fire coaches, you owe them money. And now it's really funny how, like, you have all these mistakes and you're still paying out these people, but yet you went and signed a secret contract. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like you added to that bind because now if things don't go well and you bring in new pieces and Willie fails to put that team together to work. And this is basic things, because anytime he's put in a position where he has to coach, there's a high probability that it's going to be an L. Anytime he's been in the position where he has to coach, whether it's in the clutch, this team has only been winning one way. And that one way is blowout wins. That's not going to be all the time. Yeah. I mean, look, and I know people like, oh, are you going to, give Willie credit for the win? I mean, well, guess what? If I'm the head coach and I'm getting blowout wins, yeah, I mean, anybody can be the coach then, because it's blowout wins. Everybody getting credit because it's a blowout win. You're not put in a position where you have to coach. If it's a close game and it's a minute left on the clock, 30 seconds, 10 seconds, and you're down 2 points and you have to draw up a play, that's where we got problems. Henceforth, the 0-27. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see, where this thing goes. But obviously, for a whole season, which means that's the season of being delayed. There were no moves. There was nothing during the trade deadline. If you want to include the Kyra when he was moved, if that really moves you, you know what I'm saying? If that really made a change, I mean, maybe cleared up some money, but what did that really do? Did it make the team better on the floor? I mean, it's like, so I don't really consider that a huge move, but just need some action, man. Something's got to happen. No matter who you move, my thing is, look, I'm tapped out with the core, and it needs to go in a different direction. Obviously, I like the direction to go in differently as far as with the coaching, as well as the GM, or he ain't even the GM, is he? Big Q. You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
We always give him that title because he's always acting in that position of the Trajan, which is crazy. But hey, something has to be done, because Zion deserves to be in a better position. Brandon deserves to be in a better position. CJ deserves to be in a better position that suits their talents. So, it's all about, look, what is the organization really doing for them? And I don't feel like the organization has done enough for any of them. Not really. So, that plays a huge part in all of this.
Yeah, that's man. Yeah, and now, like I said, if I was listening to Antonio Daniels, he did an interview on the Pelicans podcast, on their official podcast, whatever you want to call it, and he was talking about, like, he carried it, not just like some guy that was commentating or talking about the game. He actually sounded like us. He wasn't as rough as I am, but he because he can't be, but he was basically saying that how I felt. It was like, this is, it's not good, and it's not about, the season is based upon how how it's not about the regular season, how it's how you finish. And the way the Pelicans went out in the whimper in the postseason, it gave the whole season a black eye. You can't sit up here and talk about second in team history on 49 wins if your goddamn team got punched in the face and whimpered out in the playoffs with no heart. You can't really, the BS artist, he'll try that because that's all he has. But in the end, he was basically given that type of game. It was the way they lost was just, it was disrespectful. And those games, especially the games at home, when they, and then it's just crazy, man. Willie Green saying we finally got we're going to start practicing in the Smoothie King Center. And then they started doing that, and right after that, they won that game. And it was like asking them, what's the difference? And the people was asking them that for the back half of the season. I said, what's going on here? Why are you guys so good on the road, but you're struggling at home? And then they asked, and then, I even showed that report. We did a flash report, I want to say, I remember about it, when him saying, well, we practice in their venue. We're going to start practicing in the Smoothie King Center, and they practice in the Smoothie King Center. They've been doing it in the practice facility. So why would you not then think about that? I mean, how many coaches, how many people are there? How many are we really getting that type of insight is what I'm saying, man. Who are we brainstorming to figure this stuff up? Because, like, they didn't even figure out the 0-27, the serious games, the game time when you get to the throes of the game. Like you said, Lex, when it's time to call a play, they're 0-27 leading into the fourth quarter without the lead. 0-27. They have not. They
carried over into the playoffs.
It carried in the playoffs, and they don't have a clue on how to stop that. To me, that's absolutely insane, man. And just like you talked about, you're not going to be blowing out no damn team. Well, not, if you're not the Pelicans, you're not blowing out anybody in the playoffs. A lot of these games are going to be nip and tuck games.
Maybe one, but it's going to be pretty close when it comes down to it.
Well, you by default going to lose because you don't have what it takes to get through, what you need to get through, which means you pretty much getting out coached. How many of them games we done gave up like that, man? So, I mean, it's just ridiculous, man, in the end. But I'm not going to keep going over it. A lot of greatness. I see you there, brother. Unfortunately, we ran out of time, my brother. Please feel free to pop back in on the next stream, and we'll pop you in there. I promise you. We about to end the stream. I'm kind of tired, man, and a long day. And the Pelicans just depressed the absolute lily, you know what, out of me, bro. So I'm done. I'm sorry. I appreciate you chopping in.
Darn you, Griff.
I had enough, man. They done beat Big Q down, man.
Darn you, Willie.
They done beat Big Q down, man. I'm done with their asses tonight. So
well,
anyway,
I guess we gotta pray for them.
Yes, pray for us.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, they did. Pray for us. Pray for the flock. You know?
Yeah.
All right, but anyway, with that being said, man, listen, I appreciate y'all, man, for staying up late.
Definitely appreciate you being in here.
Also, shout out to everybody in here. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe if you're on Twitter, man. Give us a retweet. Shout out to you, our Facebook family. We multi-streaming across several different platforms currently. And also, we'll see about popping back up, man. I want to make sure we stay in touch. So maybe every Friday we'll pop back in. Shout out to my boy DC. I know he was with fam, man, and he popped in tonight. Shout out to Lex, because this show is sponsored by Lexxah Drew's Play with an Edge tonight. So, you know, shout out to Lex. But we're going to try to come back on Friday, fam. We got a lot to talk about. We're getting into the season, and we're going to be hearing a lot of trade banter, a lot of stuff going on. We want to cover it. Plus, we'll open up the phone lines to hear from you guys as well. So, and like I said, look, sorry about you tonight.
Tasha's praying too.
Thank you, Tasha. We can use it all. And these San Antonio Spurs family members, I'll take it, man. I will take your prayers. Thank you very much, Tasha and Sean. I've been saying them little slick side comments right there. I can't say nothing. Y'all got it.
Yeah, they had a whole lot of them. I was reading them.
I'll see them right there. I've been side-eyeing a few of those, but I can't say nothing in the contrary, Lex. I gotta let them have it, man. You know,
just tell the truth. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we know the team. I mean, we follow them all the time. So, I mean, we know that they say a lot of things, but we know this team, and they got to get better. There's so many areas this team's got to get better. And so it's just being real.
Yeah, it's time. That's the only way we're going to get it fixed, fam. We can't play around with it. We got to pinpoint, because Griffin not going to do it. We got to pinpoint exactly what's wrong. And we've been doing it for a while, man. And like I said, we got a pretty good track record. When we start pinpointing on stuff, they usually fix it, man. So, I mean, that's been my experience since we've been doing this stuff. But anyway, we're going to move on. DJ, you want to close us out?
Yeah, all right. Here we go. Make sure you share the show. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you also hit the share button. Make sure you tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend. With that being said, if anybody talk about our Pelicans, as we know the team, you tell them in a New Orleans accent to get the flock out of here and go flock yourself.
Always laugh at that one. All right, man. Thank y'all so much, man. We're going to holler at y'all on the next one. Much love. Go Pels.
Go Pels.
Show us the edge. Yes. The chip on the shoulders, the fight and the passion that comes from within. Whoa. Trying to win on every level. Yeah. Expectations high. Gotta show them you can fly. Play harder, better, smarter. Baby, put the league on notice. Show me the edge, yeah. Play with the edge, yeah. Show me the edge, yeah. Play with the edge, yeah. Show me the edge, yeah. Show me the edge, yeah. Whoa, done seen the walk of shame enough. Wanna see the walk of winning, time to come up and bring out the outlook. Don't every play, every possession. How bad you want it, love, do you want it all? This ain't a love, built for something greater. Attacking all obstacles, coming for the ring, my precious. You got the juice, the will, the heart, the fire. Show them the proof, show them that it shall be done. Show me the edge.
You're listening to the Pelicans Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. Remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the